Okay, looks like things are live. So, what's going on, people? As you can probably tell by the description or title or whatever, tonight there is a Ring of Honor show going on, and I am watching that right now. So, had I known ahead of time that it was only going to be like 5 or so hours away, there's a good chance that I would have gone to see it actually live. It's at the old ECW arena. So, that would have been cool. I've been near there, I guess you could say. 'Cause, like, I haven't been in the building because like the time I went up to Philadelphia, there weren't any shows. It's a landmark that you stop and see if you're into wrestling. But anyway, so I'm gonna be watching this, seeing how it goes. They're kicking things off with Dalton Castle, who's actually one of the reasons that I even watched this show. There's some other good stuff about it, don't get me wrong, but this is probably the highlight for me. So there is that. Try to send out some message real quick. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's worth my $30, but we'll see. But also there's a pure tournament, well, not a pure tournament, but a pure title match tonight. So that's going to be Josh Woods and Josh Gresham. One of them isn't named Josh, but I'm not really good with the names in Ring of Honor. So it's just kind of one of those things. But sticking with what is going on so far, I got Eli Isom, whoever that might be. So that's who's going to be taking on Dalton Castle tonight. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing really this whole show because it's supposed to be a good one. And the somewhat of a benefit to watching something that you're not really up on is that you don't go into certain matches thinking it's going to be trash, right? You just go in with an open mind. Because if I had seen these people before, then it'd be a sort of a different situation. I might be like, oh, well, I don't think I want to watch this. But I'm going in with an open mind, trying to get back into watching more Ring of Honor, seeing how things work out over there on that side of the territories or whatever. And looks like this might be somehow related to the TV title. I don't know if like the winner gets a title shot or whatever. And I can't hear because I have the sound turned off while I'm watching. Otherwise, I get like all these copyright notices or something like that. So I'll be somewhat in the dark. I think there is an option for captions, but I'm not much for reading when I'm watching stuff. Just a personal preference. But so far, things are looking decent, right? We started the show pretty quick. I'll say that as far as like, intensity in the match and whatever. So we'll just see what all goes on from here. But it's looking like I don't know if there's just not anybody here or if it's just the way they have the lighting, but it's very dark around this ring. So I'm starting to wonder if they have people there or if it's still early in the night and everybody's still just trickling in or what. Because normally, like with a lot of other wrestling shows anyway, if you have something going on, there's often like a big thing. There's often something before it, but I don't know. This is kind of confusing, because I feel like this should be a bigger event. But I mean, again, it could just be me, and it could just be early. But either way, ooh, that did not look good. I mean, dude just got basically backdropped onto the side of the ring, and it looked like it went as well as it could, but it still looks like it went pretty bad. But sooner or later, they should get in the ring, and hopefully, when this is all said and done, I want to see Mr. Castle come out on top. Because, I mean, like, I don't know who this other guy is. Maybe he deserves to win, but I don't know him. I do know this guy, and so that's why I'm going for him. The one time I actually went to a Ring of Honor show, he was, in addition to like the Bullet Club guys, because this was 2016, he was like the guy that kind of just stood out to me. So I kind of jumped on that bandwagon right there in the moment. Even picked up some Dalton Castle merchandise over the next while. Kind of sent some wrong messages, but that's another story for another day. But so far, can't really say anything bad about this, But it's only the first match. I think I think it's like 6 or 7 so far tonight or something like that. So we'll see what happens. What's this? Close that out. But yeah, it's probably like my first Ring of Honor show that I've watched in, geez, like forever. Like the actual pay-per-view. Because I do have some other thing. No, that's for Impact. Never mind. But yeah, so this is my first Ring of Honor show that I've watched in forever. I can't even remember what the last one was that I watched. I remember being against it, but I think it was the one where no, that was Impact also. Yeah, so I really don't remember, which is unfortunate because I got pretty into them over the summer when the Pure tournament was going on, and because that was really good. But after that, it's just so hard to kind of keep up with all the different wrestling events, like wrestling shows and all that stuff in between AEW and, well, I guess mostly AEW, NXT, SmackDown. I kind of just mostly gave up on Raw like a while ago. I still watch it sometimes, like, because I would get home at like 10, so like the last hour of Raw would be on. I would just turn that on while I was just kind of like getting home from work and just kind of, winding down or whatever. But it wasn't good, It's every so often I would see like a Raw clip like a week later and it's like, oh, this thing happened. Oh, that seems kind of cool. But I'm not watching 3 hours of garbage so I can see like 10 minutes of like, all right. It just isn't it's not a good ratio, right? So I don't watch it. But I'm sure I am missing out on some decent things. I think that Reggie guy is on there, and he seems to be pretty entertaining. Right? I think he's on Raw. And otherwise, like, I don't think there's anyone on there that's really getting my attention. Every so often, like, something will go on with Bobby Lashley, and that looks like it could be entertaining if you were watching it, but not necessarily worth going back to watch if you didn't see it already. SmackDown, on the other hand, though, like I think I watched that end to end the other day, right? Yeah, on Friday I watched it end to end, and no complaints there. It's a fine show, but it's still, I don't know, it's still hard to really care about it because so much of it is so repetitive, But anyways, not much has happened so far in this match. It seems to be a bit back and forth, so that's good. Not one person just kind of demolishing the other. JJ all day, what's going on, man? I'm just over here. I should be editing some videos that I recorded today, but instead I'm watching this pay-per-view because I told myself I should watch more wrestling, and so this is me making an attempt at watching more wrestling. How have things going on in your neck of the woods? I saw you just put up a Air Max 90 video recently. I haven't got around to seeing it just yet, but I think that's one that I had considered getting. In addition to there's another one that's on right now. What is it? It's on sneakers. It just came out. It's like a tannish color. I kind of want those too because the materials look pretty nice. But I have so many 90s already, And there's Chip. What's going on, man? Welcome to the party. And Kevin McCauley says, my favorite wrestler is Junkyard Dog. If you go to footaction.com and type in WWE, I think, a Junkyard Dog shirt will pop up. It's a little pricey, but if he really is your favorite, maybe it's not like, too much money or whatever. I plan to get it, but the only thing is that I bought their last special edition shirts like when they first came out, and a lot of them are still in stock and a lot of them are on sale now. So I'm hesitant to tell you to actually buy it, but you should at least keep your eye on it if you do like the Junkyard Dog and want a wrestling shirt. Because I think they're like $35, which is a lot for a shirt. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't follow any Air Max 95 colors. I only know of the Volt one from like December and that's because I helped somebody like get a pair, But yeah, I don't follow those. I just kind of put the blinders on when it comes to certain releases, you know? And it's like, honestly, like I'm already pretty bad at keeping up with a lot of releases because I just never put the effort in. So I'm usually slightly in the dark already. But yeah, that's one where it's, if you are ever curious what I think, assume that I don't have any thought on it whatsoever. Now, if it was like a 97, I might have some kind of idea. Let's see, not sure the name, but the bottom has many logos or something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I bought a shoe with a logo on it yesterday or something. The something or other, whatever this was called, came out like a couple days ago or something. And I was at the store and they happened to have them. So I was actually in the middle of editing that review when I decided to stop editing and come buy a pay-per-view. But it's a Hirachi. It's pretty decent colors, so I figured why not go ahead and get it, right? So 120 or something dollars later, here we are. Another one for the collection. I tell you, man, it's unheard of. Not unheard of, because I'm sure it's happened before, but unnecessary, the amount of Hirachis I bought this year. I kind of feel like if they had told me up front, like, hey, this is the roadmap for the year, this is coming out in what month, then I probably would have just picked and choose like the top like 3 or 4 and call it a day. But instead, I've been buying them practically monthly. It's like 350s. I mean, yeah, it's like 350s, but significantly cheaper. I mean, I can get like 2 of these for the price of one 350, I think. Jeez. There we go. A very decisive victory for Mr. Dalton Castle. So I do like seeing that. It's weird to think that like this guy was their world champion for a while, and like he's opening the show, and that wasn't even really like years back or anything. I think it might have just been like last year. It's weird how wrestling works sometimes. But there he goes, hit that bangerang, which I think was also the name of a Skrillex album. I never really listened to Skrillex though. He kind of had my attention only because he was, from first to last. But I don't know, certain electronic music I just never really got super into. And whatever I heard on the radio or TV, or because I don't listen to the radio, didn't really pull me in. But anyways, so yeah, Dalton Castle won. Therefore, I'm pretty happy with this pay-per-view so far. Obviously, I can't really say much past that. But now we got, I think it's Caprice Coleman. I think that's his name. And Ian Riccaboni. He just said his own name. And then EE, the real E double, says salute. Thank you for that. And then some fists, right? Is it fists? I guess. Yeah, it should be. Looks like fists. So 3 of those. But yeah, so what's going on, man? How are you doing? Hopefully things are going all right over in your neck of the woods. Man, this next match, Jake Atlas versus Taylor Rust. Both of these guys were just on NXT like a month ago, I think. They must have been in that group that got fired. But man, that's crazy. They moved on quickly. Usually they have like that 90-day clause, but I think that's only if you're on SmackDown or Raw or something. Because I think that's why Aleister Black was able to move over so quickly to AEW, because they forgot to like set his from 30 to 90. So, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. Because I mean, it's weird because they were pushing both of them pretty hard, trying to make it seem like they both mattered or whatever. And then they just said, all right, we're done with this. And I'm saying like this was like 1 week they were like all about these guys. Then like the next week it's like, screw this. It's old news. I don't get it. I'll put the link in there in case anybody happens to want to jump in or whatever. But otherwise, I was like, what's on you guys' mind? How are you guys doing this fine Sunday evening? I tell you, like, is that the right link? Yeah. Gotta get through a couple. Got all my little rants and whatnot, my little daily things put up today for July, so that's cool. Post August over the next 4 days, probably like a week at a time as usual. So that way this channel can start looking like a normal channel again, not just a bunch of shorts. Because I'm not trying to fall into like, that category, honestly. It's not real content, in my personal opinion. But I do have 3 actual reviews that will be going up this week. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is what I'm thinking. So that'll be cool. And then let's see what else. There was going to be a 4th video, but that might be held off now because I'll explain it later. But I thought I was ready for it, and then I found out that I wasn't ready for it. And then there's Homegrown Kicks, and he says, "Good Sunday, what going on?" Is that a thing? Good Sunday? I know there's like Good Friday. Is that a thing? Good Sunday? But, well, good Sunday to you too. You can start it right here. Football was a wash for me. I left a bid on GOAT and forgot and had an unexpected expected bid. Well, that's a good thing in some ways and a bad thing in others, I mean, you got to be responsible, dude. You're an adult. Get your life together. But nah, I've been there, and it's not so much that I forgot about it. It's like I put it there, like, and I would keep refreshing it or resubmitting it so it would stay there. And it's up there, at least on StockX. I think those are there for like 60 days or something. But I bought some shoes over the previous few weeks, and then I was all right, I'm not going to buy anything for a little while now. And then the next day or 2 days later or something, someone accepted the bid, and I was like, oh, well, okay, I guess. And it was actually my last Air Max 1 purchase, like my most recent Air Max 1 purchase, which was February of last year, like the 18th or something like that. So, I mean, I don't quite count that Nike by You one because that's like a personalized one. I'm saying like my last off-the-shelf actual retail thing, which sucks because from a guy who likes Air Max 1s a lot, you would think I would buy more of them. And actually, you know what? I don't even need to go further into that because I'm pretty sure the last short that I did was about an Air Max 1, and that very much says how I feel about that whole situation. Let's see, and I keep telling you YouTube shorts were created for you, and no, that's not true at all, right? Because here's the thing, and I was going to make a video about this, but I kind of just keep forgetting about it. So I'll do it now, do it on the spot for you. Here's the thing about YouTube shorts, right? Originally, I thought that I should put my little hashtags in there so that this short stuff can go along with other short videos and be separated from actual content. I was a little wrong on that, you see, because here's the thing, right? I've looked into what shorts are supposed to be. There's supposed to be a lot of little bite-sized bits of entertainment that entertains small-minded people, in my personal opinion, and I don't want to be associated with that. So now I'm wondering if I've made a mistake, but we'll see what happens. What's done is done, and I'm just going to ride this on out because that's how we do things around here. So that's it for me. Have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'll see you around. Something to that effect would have been how the video went, right? You keep it short, still got to be under that 60 seconds. Would have made its way to Instagram and to YouTube. But anyway, so maybe I'll just cut this later so that way I don't have to do the promo twice. But as you can see, I've done enough of those that at this point, I'm pretty decent at just knocking those out in one shot. So there is that to be said about it. I'm pretty good at making a quick point. Let's see. So now let me go back. Okay, it's not missing anything. Because I'm trying to watch this pay-per-view also and still keep up with the chat and occasionally give Homegrown Kicks his own little clips to listen to or whatever. But yeah, so I get what you're saying, right? But I don't want to be in that group. I don't. And honestly, like, because at this point, like, I have a decent idea of like what it takes to get like your videos to be noticed or whatever. And so if you look at those videos, that's why they're like formatted and whatnot in the way that they are. It's because like I ignore all that stuff because I kind of just don't want them to get too far out there, you know? Some of them do somehow slip through the cracks and the masses will watch it. And that's cool, you know? But I'm just not trying to like build a reputation off of, you know, that kind of thing. But when things get back to normal, then they'll just kind of pop up every so often. And that'll be a little bit better than like throwing out a barrage of them daily. Because it's not a fan of it. But hey, you know, at least people are entertained by it. I do like that aspect. Because, you know, when you're doing something and it's proving to be a waste of your time, that's not necessarily good. But you don't, it's like that Europe song, right? The Final Countdown. I heard earlier that they were going to charge AEW like $50,000 each time they played the song if they wanted to play the song. And the part of the reason that the price is so high is because they don't like the song and they want it to kind of just like stop being out there so much because it doesn't really describe them as a band or represent them as a band, right? Super popular song, sure, but I can definitely see their side of it. Let's see. And now he says, I don't blame you for not wanting to do shorts then. Yeah, see? And that's the thing. Like, I put them on the YouTube because some of the Instagram people, like, because that's where they've been since, like, December 8th. How long? I want to say December 8th is when I did the first one. So either way, they've been on Instagram for a long time. And some people will, like, comment on one, like, oh, man, these are funny. Ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. And then somebody will say, oh man, like this, ha ha ha, you know, it's funny, like whatever. People leave their comments. Then I'm thinking, all right, you know what? Maybe other people would care to see these. So since they're already here, I can go ahead and just throw them on the YouTube, and why not, right? Well, I guess one reason why not to was because I basically had to, I guess remaster would be the best way to put it, because fixing the coloring, fixing the audio on each upload, that was somewhat time consuming. I mean, they're only minute clips, but like you got to do a lot of crap. Well, not a lot of crap, but like getting the videos into Premiere, adjusting things as they need to be adjusted, exporting them and uploading them. It's a bit of a hassle if you like multiply that by about 100. I think there's like 150 or so in the playlist. So you multiply that by about 150, it becomes tedious, to say the least. So, but that's on me because I, take a certain amount of pride in like the presentation aspect of my videos. Even if the content itself is like hit and miss, I at least want it to have a good look to it, you know? Wait, did he kick out? That was like the worst kick out I've ever seen. He should have just counted to 3 anyway. But anyways, what's going on with you, Mr. Homegrown Kicks? How's things treating you? Dude, I watched that, I'm not all the way done with it. But the Transformers War for Cybertron thing, I'm on the Kingdom chapters. I think I'm on episode 3 of that. Pretty sure 3. So that's pretty all right. What? 50,000? Well, that sucks. Oh, yeah. When a hit song backfires, it must be terrible to make all that money from something you hate. Yeah, I get it. It's like, I mean, I can't completely relate to it, but it's like, in some ways, I'll look at like certain reviews that I do, and it's like a lot of people will watch something that I don't like, but it'll get a bunch of views. And I mean, I'm not saying I don't like how the video turned out or whatever. I just don't like the shoe, but it's like what pulls in all kinds of people to the channel. I'm like, all right. And I'm speaking mostly about my Easy 350 Lite review. That one, I mean, I don't know how it's doing now, but I know like for that first like week or so, it was doing pretty well for itself. For a small channel like statistics, it was doing pretty good. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I do like the 350s and stuff. I don't like that one. I would kind of wish people would have watched something else instead of that. But, I can't be unhappy about it. You want your stuff to be watched, right? there's just like a bit of a bittersweet thing in there. It's like, go watch that Presto video. No, maybe not the Presto video, but go watch that. What is something? I don't know, go watch that glow in the dark video I did. That one was pretty good, you know? But I think the problem with that video is that nobody cares about the shoe. But it's probably, like, as far as the video itself, like all inclusive, that one might be one of my favorite ones because it really covered like a lot. I want to say there was comparisons in there. There's like the glow in the dark on feet thing, all the other stuff that I usually put in there. Yeah, that one ranks pretty high for me. Lee Moriarty. I feel like I recognize this name, but not at all this person. He's got a lot of energy going on with his like weird goat mask. Maybe it's a tiger? I have no idea. Let's see. Competed outside of Ring of Honor in 2021 match against John Gresham. That's what it was. Let's see. Transformers is good. Made me start buying the figures. Have you checked out the new He-Man? Dude, like, we talked about this already. Do you have like Alzheimer's or something? How old are you? Like, we had a conversation about the He-Man thing. You even like responded to a story I posted about it. Man, homegrown kicks is losing it, guys. Yeah, watch his videos while you still can. Because he's going to be middle-aged and crazy. You know, it's going to be old Terry Funk sooner or later. How many Presto Nike you have? That should be like, how many Nike Prestos do you have? I don't know, dude. I can't even see the stacks anymore because I reorganized my shoe collection over there. Which one? Where's the Prestos? Is that them? There's like 1, 2, 3, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then there's probably, those are Hirachis, right? Those are Prestos. So that's probably like 6, maybe 7. No, if that's 7, that's 8. So 7 plus 8 plus, those should be, let's see, are those Hirachi? Those are Prestos. 7 plus 8 plus 4. So 7 plus 8 plus 4. Man, that's like what, 22, I guess? I'm going 22. What? No. Is that right? I don't know. I could ask Alexa, but she always gives me, she gives me weird answers sometimes. Yeah. So we're not always on speaking terms. But whatever that answer is whatever that sum would be, that's probably within 3 plus or minus of the actual answer. Let's see, the Presto video I hadn't seen yet because I've been waiting 2 weeks for my pair to come in. Oh. Yeah, I don't have a response to that. Haha, Alzheimer's. I don't know that that's really like a funny thing, but I can see why you're laughing. So I'm going to hold it against you. I forgot, geez, LOL. My life is flooded with things and people to keep up with. Here's where you're going wrong. You're keeping up with all the wrong things, apparently. Just put me at the top of the list. Everything else is everything else. It'll be a lot easier. You're welcome. Next. Devin Lewis says Lamau. Thank you for that reaction. I appreciate it. Knowing that I can entertain somebody once in a while. You know, I do consider myself a bit of an entertainer of sorts. So it's good to have that reinforcement once in a while, you know? And then with these vaccine mandates, it's hard to keep up with other things. I'm going to leave that alone, honestly. But I will acknowledge that you said it by, having read it. So there's that. This guy looks like, man, it looks like he wanted to be like an AJ Styles impersonator, like in Vegas or something. I don't know who that dude is, but given like the way these people look and the number of them, I feel like this is going to be one of those fast-paced, high-flyer matches. And that guy looks like Thrasher almost from the Headbangers. If anybody remembers the Headbangers, I don't know. But they were a pretty solid tag team back in just before the Attitude Era days, because I feel like the Attitude Era I feel like that wasn't their time, with like the Godwins and stuff. But And I don't remember when they left, because I wasn't following as closely back then with like the wrestling stuff in general. But either way, it's looking like is it a 3-on-3 or 4-on-4? Because I just saw another, okay, 3-on-3. So I'm just gonna assume that I don't know. I'm gonna assume that the face team, that the good guy team is gonna win. But going by the looks of these people only, I want the bad guys to win. They look like they just got a better look as a unit, They look like they're here for business, and these other guys look like they're here because somebody else didn't show up. So it is what it is. I'm drinking Sapporo. Sapporo? Spell that phonetically. I don't know what that is. I have a drink here too. It's nothing special, but it's some fancy water from Sam's Club, alkaline water, right? Made from the purest alkaline out there, I guess. I don't know. But either way, I do like Sam's Club things because they're super cheap and they're still pretty solid on the quality. Got to save money where you can, especially when you're buying like lots of shoes or whatever. That stuff gets expensive. You ever bought a pair of shoes? It's not cheap. Unless you're like getting those clearance deals and stuff. I get a lot of those, but if you're buying like some new stuff, it's not cheap. You're spending at least $100 almost every time. Speaking of, it's September now, right? So at the end of the month, hopefully all my stuff comes in by the end of the month. I'll be doing my quarterly pickup video for the third quarter of 2021. Oh man, I kind of don't like doing those because it reminds me of how much money I've wasted on shoes. But it is kind of nice to like look back and see the things that I did buy over the last 90 days. Some stuff that I forgot about, some stuff that I could have done without, some stuff that was something that I truly wanted and finally got, It's all kinds of emotions, It's like a real roller coaster, if you will. What am I missing here? Let's see. Oh, saw the signed Ninja Turtles box. Man, that is an awesome grab. Well, there was some guilt tripping going on in there because Chick Foley was like, hey, you're local. Like, we can knock a little bit off the price and just meet up and give this to you. I'm like, oh, man. And then, of course, young Tristan was all like, dude, like, it's $180, man. Go get these turtles. And I was like, fine. So then I did. It's like a 2-on-1 situation, handicap match, if you will. That's what they call that in the industry. Next, you seems not happy on your Nike Presto Origin review. Maybe I wasn't. Then again, point out a review where I do seem happy. I mean, they are few and far between. Even like I was just doing a review today over a shoe that I was like really wanting for a long time. Like if you just were watching with the sound off, you would think this guy's not into this. But I was. I said it in the video, but I still don't think it really went over, Let's see. They've been making beer for 100 sap. Oh, it's Japanese. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not a beer guy, so my knowledge in that world is non-existent, Over here living that CM Punk life. Let's see. When you're YouTube famous, you can drink fancy water. This guy over here, Jesus Christ, tap water? I wouldn't give tap water to my dog if my dog existed. It does not. I do slightly claim my mom's dog because I feel like when I go there, he's so happy to see me. He's like, you know what? I'll kind of call you mine. But yeah. See? Yeah, I'm never happy with shoes unless, well, I wouldn't say unless it's Asics, but because like with the Asics, I like that they give you the quality you should get for, well, slightly better quality than you should expect for the price you pay, right? And they always deliver on exactly what you expect them to be or over deliver on what you expect them to be. So they are doing pretty well in my personal opinion. But when I look at other things, and even still, just taking stuff for what it is, right? Sometimes I look at stuff and I'm like, this is fine, but it's not like amazing. Quick sidebar here, getting back to the wrestling thing. You know how wrestling has like these predetermined outcomes and whatnot? And along the way of getting to that outcome, things that happen don't really happen, you know? Sometimes it's just so blatant that it's annoying. I don't mind knowing that these guys aren't really beating each other up, but let's not flaunt it in front of everybody's face. You know, you can only suspend your disbelief so much. So another reason that the good guy team should not win. Let's see. Yeah, how about more Air Max 95 and 97 reviews? Just a suggestion. Well, I appreciate your suggestion, but as I've said many times, I even said it in this particular live, no 95s are going to be on this channel. I paused to let that sink in. 97s, if you've ever watched a 97 video of mine, because there's only been like probably 4, you know why I don't get a lot of them. And it's not my fault. It's mostly Nike's. So tell Nike to make more 97s that don't look like butt, and then come back and see if those numbers start changing as far as my Air Max 97 playlist. Until then, if you haven't seen every single one that I've done, go watch every single one that I've done. It'll kill some time for you, and I'll get like 10 cents out of it from like ad revenue or something, unless you're a YouTube premium subscriber, in which case I will get like 2 cents out of it, something like that. Let's see. No, he gets happy. It's just kind of like that movie with Tommy Lee Jones where the cheerleader's asking when his face is, this is my... I don't know what Homegrown Kicks is talking about there, about Tommy Lee Jones and stuff. But, yeah. Honestly, though, for the most part, like, the most excited you'll usually see me get, like, in a video, right, is probably going to be if it's like action figure related, because to me, like, I've got like a million shoes, right? Nobody's gonna argue that. It's a very well-known fact. So the flair is not always there, even if it's something that I truly like. But when I get like a pretty awesome looking figure, it's like that means way more to me than if I get like a pretty awesome looking whatever my favorite models are, right? Any of them, you know? Like if I open like the Boss Fight Studios Lucha Brothers pack, right? That thing, I'll talk that thing up all day and tell everybody about it. But I mean, I like those Taillight 350s, but you know, if you want to start a conversation, I'm leaning towards the Lucha Brothers. So there's that aspect of it. Jesus Christ. See, now that's where things get a little close. I'm pretty sure that dude just ate every ounce of that man's knee. And then he rolled immediately to the outside, and now he might not be okay. And again, another reason the good guys should not win this match. Something tells me they will, though. It makes me sad. What am I missing here? Let's see. Okay. Oh, I understand. Okay, I understand, says Devin Lewis. So yeah, there you go. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason. If you don't see something, it's probably because I don't like it. Because otherwise, I mean, my luck is generally pretty good, honestly. All of the stuff that I'm interested in, like, I'd say a good like 85% of it, I do actually get. And the other things, you know, it's usually like if it's something that I want and don't get, it's often a personal choice that, like, you know, that you just don't buy everything that you want. And then the other side being sometimes it's the thing where you have to like deal with like raffle systems or whatever. Now, I could go the resale route, but I'm very much against that, right? I mean, if I look at, I think my last quarterly pickup thing had like 20 shoes in it or something. Yeah, like if I can, even with the sales included and all that stuff, if I can, geez, if I can get 20 shoes, like, yeah, I could probably afford to like just not get like 2 or 3 of them and pay resale for something. There's principalities involved, and that's where I say no. Let's see. For the viewers that don't know top 5 models, go ahead and do a quick search on the channel and find the video where I talk about my favorite models. Yeah, that'll give you something to do. And the other thing about that is probably in the challenges and lists playlist. The other reason I say that is because if you scroll through the channel, you'll probably see a bunch of stuff you haven't seen, and you might see something else that interests you. That's why I like to kind of promote going through there. And I also go through a lot of crap to make sure this channel is well organized, so that way you can get right to things. So, you know. Let's see. Yeah, I hate going the reseller route too. Yeah, that's like, so that's what I just do without, you know. Like I said, I get a lot of the stuff that I want. So, like, it'd be foolish of me, in my personal opinion, to go and be like, oh man, like I didn't get this, so now I got, let me go and do this. Like, no, like I am completely fine, you know, because I keep my rotation going pretty well, right? If you've been, I'm not saying it. Wait, was that? I think. Yeah, okay. That was actually the result that I wanted. So good. The bad guys won. But yeah. So I mean, if you look at like my shorts thing, right? Like it goes back a good while, right? And so given that it's been going on for several months and no repeats, it means that when I get shoes, like I'm not going to wear them very often. So paying over what the store is going to charge me, I don't really see a point to it, you know? I mean, even if, and people ask, and I'll tell you right now, even if it was like something that I really truly wanted or whatever, I'd probably have, assuming it was within reason, I probably have money that I could get it, but no, I'll just not have it. I mean, one day none of it's going to matter anyway, right? So you got to keep that in mind. Let's see. I only go if I really want the shoe, but that's not that often. Yeah, see, and like me, it's never that often. Like I've missed out on some things that I have really wanted, and you know what I do? I put in a bid on StockX for the retail price and just wait and see what happens. And so far, only one time have I actually got through on that. It was the Citrons back in 2019. Otherwise, you know, I could have also got the inertias for retail or under the 700V1 inertia, but I don't know. That's on me. I just waited too long. Look at this well-connected guy. I get pretty much what I'm, well, no, it's about like going after things that people aren't paying attention to, you know? I mean, who's out there trying to buy these new Hirachis and these new Asics and whatever? Not a lot of people. Now, I can never remember his name. We got that black dude. He's got the really good Macho Man impersonation. I mean, Ric Flair, excuse me. Jay Lethal. I keep wanting to say Jay White, but that's Switchblade. Yeah, this Jay Lethal guy. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's not so much that I'm well connected, because I'm not. I just go after stuff that seemingly only I and like a few other people care about, which is good because then I don't really have to rush into any purchases, you know? Let's see. Well, I'll talk to you later. I got to go ahead to work to spend money on stuff I don't want to spend. You know what? I totally understand that. I do that 5 days a week, right? Going to work and whatnot. One of these days, I'm going to have to see if I can get to the point where I don't need to work, you know? Maybe save up some money and move to the Philippines where like your money goes a little further or something. That could be all right, you know? That's what I hear anyways. I've heard people say like they went and lived over there for like a year or two and lived like a king, where over here you would live like a peasant. So that's cool. Nothing against like the Philippines, not trying to like down talk them. Just saying some places are just cheaper to live than others. Though I think Thailand would probably be better for me because I like Thai food a lot, you know? and that's like the number one source of it is Thailand. So assuming that it's like fairly cheap to live there, that might be the way to go. I don't know. What about you guys out there in the internets? Where would you want to live? Is that it in English? Let's see. I he looks like him. He's dressed like he would be dressed, but I don't remember if he's there or not. What? Let's see. I went for Hirachi a few times, and Nike said, "Nope, stay in your lane, guy." I don't know what Hirachis you were going for that Nike denied you, because every Hirachi I've seen has sat and sat and sat, pulled a Rosa Parks, if you will, and then sat some more. So I don't know, man. The only one that didn't, at least on the Nike site, was that one that I sent to my brother. What was that one? The neon magenta, neon yellow and magenta. I think that one. And but still, that one was in stock everywhere. That one's in stock here, like everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, dude. I don't know. For 600 US dollars, you can have a mansion in Africa. Does that come with the pet hyena, or is that like an extra $100 or something? And the accompanying chain, because I don't want that thing getting away from me. Because I've seen that. I don't know if that was real or not, but I've seen a picture of a dude with a hyena, and if that could be me, that should be me. You could be sitting right here. I could be like Mike Tyson with his tiger, but a little different. So answer that, homegrown kicks, since you seem to have all the answers. I'm curious what Jay Lethal is talking about. Oh, I think he's just kind of doing that whole build up the roster thing, like talk everybody up and talk about how good Ring of Honor is. And the thing is, I honestly feel like with a lot of these other wrestling promotions, if they had more money to work with and like a larger TV deal to like be in front of a wider audience, I truly feel like the landscape of professional wrestling would be so much different than it is now. Because a lot of these guys I feel like they can match anybody else show for show if they really wanted to. If everybody got together and was like, all right, let's all put on our best pay-per-views this month, right? Let's build maybe give them some time to build the storylines, make people invested in it. But yeah, I really feel like these guys could go toe-to-toe with anyone else out there. They've got the people for it. I don't know about that guy. He looks weird. Where's my answer? Homegrown kicks. Maybe it's because I didn't ask nicely. I'm not going to ask nicely, by the way. I'm going to demand things, So that way, I feel like that's the thing I need to start doing. So when I get into becoming like a hyena guy, it'll fit. Let's see. Maybe that's not him. Because like as I look at him a little closer, I feel like that's just somebody. Is that no, that's sometimes it's hard to see who these people are when they're like in suits and stuff and like with different haircuts. Because like they just look completely different. It's like, but at the same time, I don't know, if he had a scarf on and no shirt, then I might be like, yeah, that's definitely so-and-so. But I'm still wondering what the deal is with like the whole situation where it looks like there's like 16 people in the crowd. That kind of bothers me, honestly. And I get it, right? There's the whole sickness thing going on and whatnot. So people are living a certain way. But it just sucks that, people's livelihoods are at stake. Not just from being like ill, but not making a living is what I'm saying. Oh, look at this. They got some of those little pillow wrestling things, whatever you call those. Everybody calls them something different so they don't get sued. But I don't remember couldn't see what they were calling them because they didn't put it on the screen. Oh, now referee Todd Sinclair is in the ring. I'm guessing this is going to be the Briscoes match because they just showed a Briscoes commercial. Yep, the OGK versus the Briscoes. And I recognize one of the guys they're going against. But man, like the Briscoes that is a good team right there. Like, because like they have that like that kind of edge to them. Like when you see them, that like it also translates into their style. It's not like just one of those guys that like when you see John Moxley or Dean Ambrose. When you would see Dean Ambrose walk out, and he would look all like, oh man, I'm from the wrong side of the tracks. And then you see the match, and it's like, no, you're not. You're just like, I don't know. You're just like the kid that didn't listen in school or something, but still did all your homework. Like you're not a problem. You're just putting up a front. But anyways, you look at him later and it's like, okay, this guy, he's somebody. And so that's kind of how I feel about them. Like they put up this look, and then they put out this vibe when they talk, and the same vibe when they're wrestling. It's like a total package, a Lex Luger type of thing. So I do like them on account of that. I kind of wish I would pay more attention to them, I just don't, because I forget that Ring of Honor exists until Fight.tv is telling me I should watch something from them. But hey, I'm doing it here today, right? I gave them $30. And now we're going to see what happens. Matt Taven, that's his name. So, I don't know, man. I mean, knowing what I know of Taven, I could see him winning this match, his team. But I'm going to have to go for the Briscoes for the things I just said, for all the reasons I just said. What about you guys? And then there's Damian Bell. What's going on? From Greece, if I remember correctly. Right? I feel like that's where you said you were from. How's things going for you tonight? Well, it's probably not nighttime over there. Not sure exactly where Greece is, but it's probably tomorrow at some point. But yeah, how are you doing there? So far, I'm just kind of sitting here talking to the people that kind of pop in and out about whatever they feel like talking about, and watching this wrestling show, which so far has been pretty decent, right? You don't get as much out of it when you don't really have the sound on, or when you're talking over the sound. But from a visual stance, it's still looking pretty good. So that says a lot. And I feel like this one is going to be really good, sound on or sound off. So I'm looking forward to that. And he says, yep, that's me. Okay, cool, good. It's there's some people that come through here, and like sometimes like I can remember, sometimes I can't. 4 a.m. Okay, solving problems. Open YouTube's. Okay, yeah, because like I was like, if it's, I guess like it was probably not that far after like England time or something, and I think the time difference there is like 5 or 6 hours depending on the time of the year. So like it's probably not that much further after that, So yeah, okay, that's about right. And then there's Amy75. What's going on? How are you doing tonight? Hopefully things are going well. I saw you acknowledge my pizza that I bought yesterday, from Papa John's. And somebody's just started up some kind of machine out there. I don't know if you guys heard that. But yeah, man, like usually I go with Domino's just because it's closer, but Papa John's was available, so that's what I went with. It's not my favorite, but mostly because it's like not as cheap, and I'm cheap. But hey, they had the toppings I wanted, which is cheese and spinach. So there we go. That's all I'm really looking for. better than Pizza Hut. Like I bought pizza from them a while ago, and like they had a lot of random toppings available, but none that I wanted. I'm a very picky eater, very picky. I want what I want. Period. Let's see. 2 hours after UK soil mechanics have terms. We have finals. Oh man, yeah. I mean, I've done the school thing, but like a lot of my college stuff was all online, so I didn't get the same experience, but I can definitely understand like the whole finals, like I don't know if anxiety is the right word, but dealing with it in general, I can totally understand how that kind of sucks. But I mean, good luck with it, I mean, assuming everything plays out as it should, it'll definitely be worth it later, right? So that's the one good thing. Because like I always say, I like to, like during my day, like you're studying, that's a good thing, being productive. I like to try to stay productive. I mean, this honestly is not in any way, shape, or form, right? Sitting here watching wrestling or whatever. But you got to have a little bit of entertainment in there, and it gives me a chance to kind of sit back and talk to the people here too. He says full on anxiety. So I'm a computer guy, right? So I've studied like stuff related to that, So some of it's like security things, some of it's like hardware things, some of it's just administration things, right? A little bit of everything over the years. So it's cool, now I'm pretty well rounded, I suppose, and it pays the bills, right? And buys shoes, obviously, and wrestling figures and concert tickets. Coming soon, it's going to be buying a lot more concert tickets than anything else, though, because things are picking up, man. Earth, Wind, and Fire is coming here next week. So I just bought my tickets for that. I'm also seeing The Offspring, I think like 2 days before that. Bought a ticket for Jason Mraz the other day. I think that's not until November, though. And then I just realized like I forgot all about all the Richmond tickets, so got to get those soon. So yeah, it's good though. It's good. Let's see, that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's one of those things, like in some ways though, I do wish I had like just gone to like real school. Well, I went to a real school. My degree isn't like made up, I didn't like just print it out at like some local store and just make it myself. No, it came from what do you call it? Authorized or accredited? Whatever. It's from a real school. I'd show it to you, but it's at my mom's house. But yeah, so I do have that. But what I'm saying is like I kind of wish I had just actually gone to like an actual in-person physical university building, done like the actual college experience. I've heard some ups and downs about it, I'm not going to lie. But I think really what it comes down to is just that no matter what you do, whatever choice you make, part of you, no matter how well something turns out, part of you is always going to wonder, what if I had done the other route? Wonder how that would have gone. Who knows? Could have went terribly, right? I could be broke and addicted to heroin right now or something. You never know, right? Could be like Requiem for a Dream. But instead, I'm not, so there is that. I mean, I guess that'd probably be a bit of an extreme, but it's an alternate timeline, you don't know. Yeah, I feel you. It's worth. I've changed 4 schools so far, so I have mixed opinions. Okay, yeah, and that's the thing, because like talking to like different people, I have friends that have gone through like they went to like maybe one school to get like their bachelor's, then they went to another one and got their master's, and then that was that. Right now they just do whatever is related to whatever they learned. And then I know some people that like they got in school, they left for a while, got back in, maybe the same one, maybe a different one, got out, got back. Eventually they finished. Maybe they're doing, some of them are like working in jobs that have nothing to do with anything they learned. Some of them left school before they finished and like probably aren't going back, you know? So yeah, I would imagine like if you ask like 10 different people what that went to like actual school, like what their experience was like, you might get 10 very different answers. So yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag. Let's see. Yeah, and if you said if you find what you like, how you get there is like, yeah, I would totally agree with that. Because I knew like from the summer before ninth grade, right? That's when I started getting into like the IT stuff. And I knew at that point I was like, huh, this is pretty cool. Like this is clicking for me and I have an interest in this, right? And then looking back at it, like all that stuff that I was learning, like, I was sitting around reading all these like programming books and learning about like, C++ or HTML, because that was big at the time, writing web pages from scratch, and then moving on to like more in-depth things in other realms and stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is stuck the landing. Good on him. But yeah, so I was like, this is something that I could see like making an actual living out of, or at least making a job of, I think that'd be cool. Originally, I thought I would go more to like graphic design, because I used to draw a lot when I was younger, right? I'll still doodle from time to time, but so one of the things I got into was making pictures online, like I'm not online, but on the computer, pixel by pixel in MS Paint in a lot of cases, going through and just zooming in and making pictures like the most difficult way possible. And so that was like a thing that really got me, learning Photoshop and all that stuff, Unfortunately, our computer crashed at some point, lost a bunch of stuff, and then along with that went my interest. And looking back at it, knowing what I know now, I could have fixed that thing in practically no time at all, right? But, when the computer did go down, like that right there was the fork in the road that sent me down a completely different path. But this one probably, you could argue that it pays better. But with the graphic thing, if you get into the right world, I mean, that's going to pay like way better and have a little bit of a cool factor to it. But either way, I got in overall to the field that I wanted to. And then later on, I just kind of got the degree to kind of help supplement things. So when I like try to get better jobs, I can be like, hey, like I know some stuff and I have a degree. And people be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, let's hire Tristan. And that's what happened. Now look at me. So it works. I'm not going to say it works for everyone or all the time, but it certainly helps, right? You can't argue that. Man. Back to the wrestling thing, though, real quick. This match is delivering on being pretty entertaining. It's moving at a pretty good pace, nothing too over the top. That's a little over the top, though. Let's see. That's awesome, though, for real. I'm pretty jealous. I can never find one specific profession I really wanted to follow for the rest of my life. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, and I've said this to other people, I feel like it's kind of hard to find the one thing that you truly want to do, because you have to be put in front of like a lot of different things. Like had we just for whatever reason not got a computer as early as we did, something else probably would have filled that void, right? And who knows what I'd be into now. But luckily things worked out the way they worked out, or maybe I would have just stuck with like the art thing, because again, I did really like drawing. I just sometimes the only drawback was, no pun intended, was just like not having anything on my mind, like imagination wise, And then later on, I got into music as well, but the difficult part of that is that it's not as easy to do that alone. You can do the other things like the art stuff, drawing, illustrations, whatever. You can kind of do that by yourself. But when it comes to being a musician, you can make a good bit of progress alone, but for best results, you want to get another person or two involved, and that's where it gets difficult. Because I have friends of mine that are great musicians, and they have like great songwriting abilities and all this stuff, but having people to help them with the performance side of it, to fill out the band, that's where they kind of get screwed over, honestly. Let's see. Oh no, don't worry about distracting me. It's I'm watching this, but like I am trying to focus I'm trying to do like a 50-50 split, honestly, right? Because I don't want to ignore the people that are in here, but I do want to acknowledge that as well. Let's see. So yeah, so don't apologize for that. Yeah, I was getting ready to go to school for animation and game design, but mom couldn't afford it. Got into engineering and did that. The rest is all right. Yeah, and see, that's what it is. Like I had an original plan, but probably just the fact that I was like 17 or 18 or whatever age I was, it probably wasn't a well thought out plan. I'm a little better nowadays at thinking things through, but like when you're younger, it's just like you see like the thing that you want, you see, oh yeah, I'll just do this and then that, and then profit. But nowadays, I can look at stuff and realize I got to think just a little bit more. But yeah, so yeah, because I was never like game design was never a thing that I was into. It was something that I respected, because a friend of mine, the guy that helped me get into learning Visual Basic and C++, mostly Visual Basic though. But like he had kind of got into programming pretty hardcore or whatever, and he was even working with Microsoft. No. Well, was it? Isn't Microsoft or Nintendo? I forget. He was like, doing testing and all that stuff with them for a while. And so I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, because it is. But as much as I like gaming, at the varying points of my life, I was never one to look at something and be like, oh yeah, like I want to be able to design this. When I looked at programming, I always just looked at like simple utilities and just like breaking them down in my mind and seeing, okay, what? Really? I mean, I called the winner. Well, not necessarily, but that was surprising. But yeah, so looking back at that stuff, I was like, I would break things down in my mind, and that was what interested me, looking at something and seeing how you might program it to work. So of course back then it was like a lot of little things, but I just didn't really stick with the programming aspect enough. Instead, I just learned a bit of a lot of things. I've done like some Java, did some of the basic, like QBasic or whatever. Again, C++. I think there was I did some CSS somewhere along the way. Normal scripting and stuff. But nowadays it's helpful because like when we're dealing with like stuff that works sometimes, it's like I can read through things and kind of make sense of it a little easier than if I had never looked at it. Let's see. Yeah, I have a few friends that struggle with music like that. Right, yeah, and it sucks, honestly, or especially like there's one friend of mine he's got pretty lucky eventually, and he has like some friends and like they're around here, so he's able to, get that going. But then he was kind of on the fence for a while about pursuing it further because, part of that is like, it's cool to go out and do shows and your friends come out and they're entertained, but you want your stuff to get out there a little further, right? It's like if I was making YouTube videos, right? It'd be cool if like you and Homegrown Kicks and like E-Money Shoes or something like watched the videos and stuff, and I knew I could count on 3 views for every video I put up. I'd get like 3 views, 3 comments. Like, yeah, cool. My buddies like this stuff, but you do kind of want like the random people to start coming in and watching it too. So he was trying to promote it, but I think it just wasn't always really working out for him. And then there's the whole financial side of it, to where it can be an expensive endeavor, I guess, from what he was saying, to like try to hire somebody to help get your music further out there. And even if you do that, they can only guarantee to some extent that your music gets out there. It might not get out to the right people at the right time though, and that's kind of a separate issue. But yeah, like the music world, like it seems like it's a tough one to get into and be really successful at it on a level that people would want to be successful within it. Unless you kind of pull one of those like American Idol type things or whatever. You're like Kelly Clarkson or something. Then you can kind of, I think it was her. She was on that show, right? She was on some show. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was that dude, Clay something or other. Either way, like there's that type of thing that'll kind of skyrocket you to the top. But if you're just trying to like get on there, like get your little friends together and just kind of move on, yeah, it's not easy. Nowadays, it's probably, honestly, like I don't know if it makes it harder or easier now. I'm leaning towards harder nowadays because everybody's trying to do the same stuff, right? Whether it be in this world or something else. I mean, all the tools are out there. Like anybody can make an album right now. Like I have an Adobe subscription. I could go download an Audition and go in there, record some things, and get a little mixtape out by the weekend or something. Might be terrible. Well, okay, it would be terrible, but I could do it. And that's the thing, right? I'd be another one of those people putting bad music on SoundCloud. And that's kind of the thing. Like it gets to be where everything's just oversaturated, So it's like, how do you get to the top? How do you like rise past all that stuff? Right? Like even with this channel, right? This channel is doing okay. It'd be doing a whole lot better if I had different interests though. If I was doing this stuff, like if I had my same presentation and all that crap, but was getting shoes that the majority of people cared about, if I was doing like early reviews and stuff and still going in as detailed as I do, oh, this thing would be phenomenal probably. But I don't like any of that stuff. Let's see. They're not called starving artists for nothing. It's yeah, man, and that's an understatement almost. Let's see. I think you can either be really good and focused, really bad and popular, or just lucky. Yeah, it's like you just gotta find that right combination and get in there. Let's see. Kay, Kelly, Ruben, Fantasia are all. I don't know who Kay is. Fantasia sounds familiar. I think I saw Fantasia at WrestleMania one year. I think she did the anthem or something. Can't think of any other way to make it on that instrument. Yeah, man, like, and that's the thing that sucks because it's like, and I'm sure like you probably encountered some like local friends or whatever that were like, man, like this person, if in a wider view or whatever, could be crazy good and popular and move on, and then nothing happens. There was this band that I was really into called The Cab, and they had a really good poppy sound that just kind of fit with what any radio would play, honestly. And then they went on they did Warped tours and stuff like that for a while, but then I heard they were going on tour with Maroon 5, and I was like, okay, their sound fits in perfectly with what their audience would want to hear. So any of all the people that go to see Maroon 5, I'm sure a huge chunk is going to be really into The Cab. And then they just disappeared shortly after. So I don't know what happened. It was weird. Side note again, this Ring of Honor Pure title, like the actual title, is super plain, but it works so well for what it is. Like, so in a way, that might be one of my favorite belts. It doesn't have a lot of flash and pizzazz, but man, it's like the right design for that. Let's see. It autocorrect this. Oh, okay. Now I get it. Yeah. Okay, Clay. Yeah. So, and even them, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because I never paid attention to them. They could be like Billy Idol, right? If you don't pay attention to Billy Idol, you wouldn't know he's still making music. But I never paid attention to any of them outside of Kelly Clarkson. I actually saw her exactly 10 years ago yesterday. I think it was 10 years ago, something like that. But yeah, like even them, they kind of got like that, that special treatment, that like rush to the top. And it seems like, again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it seems like Kelly Clarkson is the only one that is really like relevant still. I don't even know if she's making music. She might just be like on TV. Like I think she has a talk show or something. Let's see. And then, man, all the talented local artists that I've known for years eventually give up and just play for fun, and the mediocre ones turn pop and make it. See, and that's again like the craziest thing to me, because I have one friend of mine, like I had no doubt that he was going to like go somewhere, right? Because he was the touring keyboardist for like a pretty popular like local band that got like a lot of mainstream success, right? So they would take him on tour with them to play keyboards and stuff. And so he would also bring his band on the tours to open for them, right? So it's like that's a great combination. So then moving on from there, like, he was super well connected, still is within Virginia Beach, for like shows and all that stuff. And he's had like a number of solid bands, and everybody's like really into everything he does. But somehow, like, he just never, I think it may have been on him that he just never really pursued it. But I feel like if he had put like just a smidge more time into like getting actual recordings together and not just doing shows and stuff, I feel like he could have been like one of those guys that's like really out there. But now he's doing well. I mean, he's got like an actual studio where he teaches music to kids and puts on shows for them around the city and all that stuff. So, you can't say anything bad about it. Like, he's got his own business going, but I feel like he could have done something bigger. And I say bigger in certain ways, because fulfilling, maybe not so much, depending on who you ask, whatever, but grander, right? And Pew Pew Gun says you, which is probably more of a yo. And then Damien Bell says two metalcore singers, bands, and two rappers. That's what I had in mind. They made it. It's crazy. They didn't care for their art. They just wanted and I see people like that, like in this world, right? I'm saying like the shoe YouTube thing, that they just want the success, right? And you can often watch a video or two from somebody and you can tell where their mind is. You can tell what they're going for. And some of those people have done well for themselves. Some of them tried so hard for just to like get that quick success and then just kind of burnt out and faded away, right? When I think about like some people say it's like my class, like the people that started around the time that I started, yeah, there's a lot of them that just tried to cut some corners and are now nowhere to be found. There's some that kind of stayed true to themselves and are doing pretty fine now, right? It is what it is. Let's see. Fantasia is the only other one besides Kelly that's still okay. I didn't know if she was or not. Like I know she had a pretty strong name, behind her for a while. Man, I tell you, like, if you're not like an actual pro wrestling fan, like I get it, but I feel like the way they do these pure title tournaments, because it's so much more like an actual wrestling match or like kind of like a wrestling fight, whatever. I feel like this would appeal to a lot of people because it's just done so much better. I mean, I'm sure like the outcome is still set, but the way they get there, it actually looks like anybody could win at any point. I like that point system they do too. Let's see. It's going to backfire though in different aspects of their life. Oh yeah. Yeah. And like I said, you are your actions at the end of the day, right? And that's the thing. That's why to me, like, if you're going to put yourself out there, like, be transparent about it. Don't try to be anything you're not, because if you build up some sort of, I don't know, persona, and then you have to try to live that lie, right? Eventually, one of two or both things will happen, is that you'll get burnt out, screw up, and then people will see through it, or people will just see through it from the start anyway, and then that'll be that. So it's easier to just not do that, in my personal opinion, right? Because I'd imagine that fall is going to suck a lot more than just not making it, because then everybody, and that's the internet's out there nowadays, everybody's going to be talking about you. It's like, oh man, remember Milli Vanilli and how this? So yeah, nobody talks about Milli Vanilli in a good way. And it's understandable, right? And it sucks, because like one of the guys, I think he ended up killing himself, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Takes guts not to lie, though. Yeah, and I get that, right? But you kind of gotta play the long game in some ways, And going back to what we were talking about before, and just kind of have a backup plan, Because like I wasn't one of those people at all that was like, oh man, like I want to, because I know there are people that do YouTube and make like good money. Like I don't see that happening for me, right? Because for one, I'm not putting in the work to make that happen, and two, the odds of that happening, it happens to a small fraction of the people, and there's so many people doing it that number behind the fraction is probably like 6. So out of the billions of people on YouTube, and if you're trying to make real content and not just something that's funny for 2 minutes and then you move on. So I'm good on that, right? I just go into it just trying to be entertained. And then on the real side of things, it's like, okay, I've got like some actual skills that will get me a job that I can, live life on. So I get like, I get like what, I get about $220, $230 a month doing YouTube things, right? That's not a lot of money, right? It's not. It's decent, don't get me wrong, and I'm thankful that I get he screwed that up. I see what he was going for. He's going for one of those jump into it sort of suplexes. He missed the rope on the left though and did not quite make it. But yeah, so I look at that and I was like, okay, I can make some money off of this, which is cool because I'm gonna buy this stuff anyway. It's just nice to see that, I get a little bit of money thrown my way once in a while for some stuff that I was already going to do, and to sit here and occasionally talk to some people about whatever. But I don't know, man. Like, I think you should kind of be sure to have some other thing on the side just in case. At least or even if it's just having some friends that could hire you somewhere to just at least have a job, I know some people that kind of get by on that, It's like if your brother has a job somewhere, like maybe he can put in a good word for you and like help get you hired, if your other endeavors don't work out. Same with like this wrestling thing, I see some of those people that did it for years and like they're older and they were famous in like the 80s and 90s. And nowadays it's like they don't really have much going on. Like some of them do okay just based off of like they make just enough from going town to town and doing like Comic-Con signings and like being in grand openings for car washes or whatever people do nowadays. I don't know. But they go to that and like people, oh yeah, I'll give you $20 to take a picture with you. You know, it adds up. But the time and effort they had to put in for that, you know, it seems like it might. I could see how they wouldn't be into it, honestly. Other than like meeting the people that were super into their work, I can see how they'd rather probably have a different way to make money. Let's see. I think to get YouTube money, you need to target kids and dumbos. Yes, that is a 100% fact. You need to target the fickle, if you will. You know, steal that word from Brian Danielson, as he is now. Which is why it's just not a thing for me, you know? Like I just don't get it, you know? Like everybody wants to take all these shortcuts all the time. And do it in a way that's like at least be innovative with it, you know? If like YouTube is a good way to make money in some ways, but there's some also ways you can also some ways where you can do it with some substance, you know? If you're like a really good mechanic or something, you could probably make mechanic videos, and those probably do pretty well because a lot of people have cars or dishwashers or stuff that needs to be fixed, you know? Target those appliances, especially if you're able to like kind of keep up with like newer things coming out and get your videos tagged up correctly. Yeah, that could be good. But it's like those other people who are just like, hey, I'm going to eat a bunch of hot sauce or drink a bunch of hot sauce and it's going to be funny and everybody's going to want to watch it. It's like, what's wrong with you? But that's when the alcoholism kicks in. Yeah. People try to self-medicate and cope with their problems or whatever. Which, that did not look good. That little knee trip he just did or whatever. Probably some kind of judo, something or other. Man, they are. How long is that going to go on? Oh, wait, whose shoulders are down though? Who? But yeah, so I don't know. So I have my views on things, and obviously a lot of them are based off of what I consider common sense. But some people, you know, they see things their own way. Like, no, man, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get out there. It's like I'm gonna get all these early Jordans, or I'm gonna make all these funny clips with my cat. It's like your cat sucks, you know. Like that's how I feel sometimes. It's like no one wants to see this trash. Not wishing ill on anyone's like dreams or whatever, but it is what it is. So I don't know what just happened in this match. It was one of those like weird double finishes where like both guys' shoulders were down on the mat and like the referee counted the 3. So I'll probably have to rewatch this later just to see what exactly is going on here. So I guess maybe I'll just restart it. So I guess they're just gonna take that away and just start over from there. Okay. I'm not sure. I'll have to, like I said, I'll have to watch that part again because I'm not sure what what Gresham was talking about there. But it seems like it's one of those things where maybe it'll play into the finish and it'll go, oh, well, if this hadn't happened, then maybe this would be the case. Ooh, Jesus Christ. You know, like sometimes you see these people like slap each other and like sometimes it's so hard that like all this sweat like flies off their body. It's like you can tell when it's like a full follow through, you know. I'm just like, then that was one of those times. But anyways, past the people trying to cut the corners and like the friends and their failed musical endeavors. What else? What else is on you guys' mind? Anything positive out there that's not related to people's failures? But because again, I'm here mostly just watching this, but whatever people want to talk about or hear about or whatever, I'm all for talking about. For the most part, I stay away from like certain topics for certain reasons, and I won't be showing off anything really, unless you want to see like the 3 things that are near me, because like I'm still watching this, right? And then again, on the for the YouTube side of things, for people that do care, I'll have actual videos going up tomorrow and the day after and the day after. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, unless I compress the release schedule. But it'll probably be like, I might spread it out just a little bit because I do still need to get my August ramblings and whatnot out there. But what is it? The goal would be to get that done by the end of the week. So I could probably do that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because there's only 4 weeks in August, right? Yeah, I could. Actually, 5 weeks in August in a way, but yeah, I could get that out. Maybe stretch it over to the weekend, through the weekend. But yeah, I got some. Let's see, you hit on 2 pairs of slides and the Sakai Clot. I got a pair of slides. I got those Yeezy slides, the brown one. Oh, is it about to choke out? You look away from this dude for a second, and the next thing you know, he's getting tapped out or choked out. No, he's fighting through it. Yeah, I got a pair of Yeezy slides, these brown ones. So there's that. But and yeah, because I got like 9 pairs of slides or something, you know. So I'm trying to not buy so many of those, even though I do like them. It just becomes a factor of like how many do I need, right? Wait, so what slides did you get though? I hit on the other 2 colors. Oh, huh. So I guess between the 2 of us, we got all of them. I actually wanted the green one more. But yeah, here's the brown one. Shoot, is that? I'm looking at the wrong window here. Yeah, so you got the brown. And obviously, you know what they look like. It's nothing crazy, but it's such a weird thing to me. They are a little lighter than like. So I have the original resins, like from the first batch that came out in December 2019, right? And these feel different. Like they feel lighter. They feel like a little more. I don't know. They feel like they got a little more give to them as far as like to the touch. Walking around in them, they felt the same. I can't say anything different. That man. See, you should have kept hitting them in the face. But yeah, so they do feel a little better to the touch than the old school resins, but they still feel the same walking around in them for the most part. I mean, obviously, like one being feeling a little bit lighter is you do somewhat notice that barely, but otherwise, I was just curious to see if they were going to be different at all, and they really aren't. They're very much the same. So it was 60, $70 that I could have spent on something else, but hey, I wanted to know for myself, and now I know. They're the same. Let's see. Dang it, I'll put in an entry for all 3 colors of the slides and oh, you put in confirm doesn't like me at all. Well, give them money every 2 weeks. That's what I do. And then they just kind of give me a win every so often, which is actually pretty regularly. Wait, did he really though? I don't know that he really kicked out on that one. But yeah, I do pretty well with the confirm thing. I don't get everything I want out of them, right? But I win often enough that when I put in on something, I feel decent about it, right? Not overconfident, but it's like if it doesn't happen, it's like, huh, okay, whatever. I usually don't lose like multiple times in a row. I'll at least give myself that, not on confirmed anyway. I, I guess I could look. I don't remember what the last thing was that I really like went for on there. Let's see, and then there we go. I had the earth brown, and they took time to break in and were slightly stiffer than the new ones. Oh, yeah, see, that's the one thing. But because I think the way I compared it was like they feel like it's like buying those and walking around earlier today and the brown ones and the old resins, they felt pretty much the same, but those resins are very broken in since I've been wearing them for almost 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's somewhat telling there. And the new ones are more tight though. Hope they're as durable. You see, they felt the same to me as far as like you're talking about like around your foot or whatever. Yeah, like that part felt very much the same to me. But I mean, it could just be me and my foot or whatever. I have like these little dainty feet. Let's see. I entered every available raffle. Got two. Guess I can't. I entered on. Where did I enter? Because like after a certain point, I kind of stopped because I was like, if by some weird twist of fate, like I win these raffles, I'm not trying to end up with 9 pairs of Yeezy slides, right? It's unlikely, yes, but just in case, just in case, I was like, I'm gonna stop here. Stop while I'm ahead. Ooh, that was different. Looked painful too. But yeah, so I won through confirmed. I lost. Wait. Whoa, look at that. So there we go. I said that the whole restarting thing would probably come into play, and it did. So now there's a new pure champion. Man, that's weird. It was a good match though. It was laid out pretty nicely. But yeah, so I never really had a problem with those. But again, with the way my feet are, like I usually don't have a problem with much of anything. So, and yeah, that was gonna be one of the things that I was questioning, like if your feet were like wide or whatever. Because I know, like looking at these, and I don't have a. So I'm wearing only new shoes for the month, and I have pulled my indoor wear into that. So like I don't have 3 pairs of slides to switch around, but so like these are cool because like they have the Velcro in there right on the side, the Alpha Bounce slides. So these, I can adjust these however I need to. Honestly, I've never adjusted them. I just leave them exactly how they are because they fit just fine that way. But then when you look at something like this, yeah, it is kind of like a narrow build for sure in there. It's like I think my foot is like just wide enough to fit or just narrow enough, however you want to look at it, to fit in there. So I don't know. It's overall I can't recommend these things is what it really comes down to. Like it's just why? Like there's so many other slides that are better than these. Like every slide that I have is better than these. The only I mean, I might suggest these in some ways over those cork slides that I bought, like not the Air Max 90 cork slides. I'm talking about the ones where like the shoe is actually cork. And the only reason for that is because it has a very large like opening on the upper here, and it just doesn't always. I'm not a huge fan of that, especially once it breaks in, because like once the cork actually molds to your foot or whatever, then like that opening becomes a little more open, and just with normal wear and tear, not wear and tear, but normal wear, then it just again it kind of loosens up. So I like wearing them, it's cool. They're non-slip, you know what I'm saying, because of the bottom. But yeah, man, I've seen other cork slides from Adidas, so I'm wondering if I should probably like try those. But at this again, I have so many cork slides that it's just kind of like, I mean, I have so many slides that it's like I don't need that many. So you went up full size and they fit properly. I like them before they released, the way they look, and they're pretty comfortable. Yeah, like, and that's the thing I was saying, like, they're not uncomfortable. Like, I wouldn't say that. To me, it comes down to like, okay, for half the price, I can buy other slides that have more colors and are as comfortable. You got to get the right ones though, because if you get like the Adalette shower slides or whatever, but if you get like the cloud foam, I forget what they call those now, the comfort slides or something. I forget, but I did like 3 reviews on slides last year, which means that I have a 4th pair of slides somewhere in this apartment that I have never worn. So actually, you know what? I have more pairs of slides that I can choose from for the month. 2 more actually, because there's a blue pair, that's a shower pair, and there's a light blue pair. As I talk through things, that's how you start to remember stuff. But yeah, I went with like my normal size. Like these are both size 9, but these are actually just a big shoe, right? But part of the thing is like the actual part where your foot goes on these and these is very much the same size for the most part. It's just that the way this red part is, it just gives it the illusion of looking a little bigger. But well, I guess this is a little different. Like, but other slides, it's not so much. But this one, it does look a little bit longer too. But still, I do like the way these fit at a true to size. You know, I got no problems with them there. And for me, it's kind of one of those things where I don't know about you, but there are some shoes where like a 9 will fit perfect, a 9.5 will fit perfect, you know, or a 9.5 will feel too big and a 9 would feel too small. So sometimes it's almost as if my foot is like a 9.25 or something like that or whatever. But wearing those, like, they work out perfectly to where like my foot is like, it's almost as if like my foot was just, or these were made to match it, you know, like perfect dimensions. I noticed that when I was getting my thumbnail picture ready today. So I do I do like how they fit, but that's because my foot is shaped in a way that is just built for that, you know. And they've got the nice little contours in there, whatever, to help your feet not slip around, you know, these little lips and stuff. Question for you though, do you wear your slides like do you wear them like shoes, like out and about, or do you just, because I only wear mine inside, because I've never been like a wear slides to go anywhere kind of person. Man, this looks like Hit Row from NXT. I'm not trying to be racist or whatever. I'm just saying, like, that's the vibe that I get here, you know. So it's, I don't know, seems like this is another one of those heel teams, and if the other heel team won, I would imagine that this heel team would lose, but they're the champs. And I don't, ooh, what in the world? Is this Homegrown Kicks on here? In this yellow suit? Let's see. I didn't used to till I got these. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, because I just don't, I don't know, like, when I leave, like, I need actual footwear, like, for my feet whenever I'm going to be out and about. Because, like if I need to, like, get away from some danger, I want to be able to, like, move, like, you know, with normal mobility. If it starts to rain or something, like, I don't want to have slides on because then my feet are going to get all wet. And these have those little lips on the side to where, like, if it rains, like, you're just going to be walking around in your own personal puddle. And that sounds just awful. So no to that. So yeah, I can't do the slides outdoors. Like, just can't do it. There's too much at stake, you know. I'm not willing to risk it. Wait, wait. Oh, okay, so now they've got a bit of a. So now one person has been injured and has been taken out of the picture. So this swerve here could be the turn of the tides to make to make the good guys win. Because then the bad guys, like the main bad guy, can be like, I never lost, I wasn't there. But we'll see what happens. Let's see, Kyle Martin, what is going on? Wait, hold on a second. I missed one. Missed two. I wear them all the time to go do chores, to a bar when I'm bored, to dress up when I'm. Yeah, I don't understand that. Although phones replace them now to walk the dog, whatever. All right, fair enough. They're actually my most worn piece of footwear of the last year. That's why I needed a new pair. My most worn footwear of 2020, because of a lot of work from home, was the Air Max 90 slides in the Volt colorway. Kyle Martin, what's going on, man? I'm planning on getting some slides for the pool next year. Yes, now see that's a part where slides make sense, and I did think about it earlier, like not today earlier, but like weeks ago, because like some friends were talking about going to the beach because living out here in the Virginia Beach area, that's a thing that happens once in a while, and it'd be good to have a pair of slides for that, because otherwise it's like if you've ever gotten sand in a shoe, it's almost as if like the sand is never gone. Like once it's in there, like every day you can bang that thing against the wall for the next 3 years. There's at least one little particle of sand is going to fall out every time. It's weird. Let's see, you got to live on the edge here and there. I live on, the way I live on the edge is by like not having a case on my phone. You see that? This is how this thing looks. The Note 10 Plus. Yeah, it's got this nice mirror finish, right? And I felt like if I bought this because I wanted this on it. So if I cover that up, what's the point of having the phone? So I've been carrying this thing around since December of 2019. And so far, like if you can see, like no scratch. There's a screen cover on the side of this. You can kind of tell if you look at it from the right angle. So it looks like there is a scratch over on this side, but it's really just the way the screen protector is. So yeah, no scratches or anything. Crazy, right? And yeah, so that is how I live on the edge. Yeah. So I take a little bit of pride in that. I honestly do. Because I'll pull the phone out and be like, oh man, that's a cool case. I'm like, oh no, it's not a cool case. This is the phone, mind you. And they're like, oh my God, what? And I don't have insurance on it. So, and even if I did, I couldn't get a new Note 10 Plus because those things are long gone. Let's see. And Damien saying, Kyle, don't get the easy ones. If your feet are wet, you're going to be dancing around. Yeah, like I would say like the slide to get, like I was talking about those Adidas Cloud Foam something or others, those are the ones to get. I'll have to pull up a picture or something, put a link in the chat or something. Those are the ones to get, honestly. Like personal feelings aside, like outside of what I prefer, like as a suggestion for a pool situation, definitely those. I'll pull up a pair just so I can make sure I show what I'm talking about. Oh God, what is that thing? That's awful. And actually, you know what? I'll do the screen share thing so that way you can see what I'm looking at. Chrome tab, Adidas, slides, share. So yeah, I saw that stuff. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I would say no to those, unless you're like a Croc style guy. But I think these, it says those are the comfort ones, because these would be like the shower style and not those. So yeah, the Adelaide Comfort, they used to be called like the Cloud Foam. So these are the ones that I suggest because they have this really nice cushiony foam in them, and they come in like a million colors. There's also apparently a 2 for $40 deal going on right now. They're normally 1 for $35. But these, overall are like these. This was like the first venture into the slide world for me, and these were the ones, man. Like I got those, and I did not look back. And then I got two more, and actually, there's I haven't bought two extra pairs for my mom and dad. So like now there's two pairs over there for them. So whenever they come up, they have their own. So this would be my suggestion, is to not necessarily that particular colorway or whatever, but look for the comfort ones. Where's the thing so I can throw a link in there or something? That style. And I've done a review on a couple of them. Let's see, on a couple different versions of slides, but that is the one that I can like constantly suggest to people. Now I'm just trying to see if, for my own knowledge, if there's anything on here that I want that stands out. I mean, of course I want these, but I have enough of that I don't really need another. So yeah, I would say go with those. No, it's not it. That would be my suggestion. So I can go ahead and we can stop that. But yeah, I do like the slides, and I like to think I've worn enough to give a decent opinion. Check out the Saleh Bembury Crocs if you want. I mean, I'll look for them, but I feel like I don't want them just because it's a Croc. And I am not about that. But let's see. Those look like they're somewhat rugged. It also kind of reminds me of like the Yeezy foam runner, just because it's got like a weird sort of thing. It's got that like made out of a piece of wood look, like a clog, but like customized, with somebody who's got like some wood making skills or whatever, or woodworking skills. Because I guess you're not making the wood is already made by like nature. Let's see. Never had a pair. Yeah, I don't think Crocs aren't for everybody. Oh, okay. Yeah, Crocs, it seems like it's not for everybody, but some people are super into them, right? Because I see people wearing them, being pretty proud of, well, I won't say proud of them, but all about them. My sister was telling, dude, you got to get a pair of Crocs. And I'm like, I actually don't. I mean, if there was ever one that, because I know sometimes they do their collaboration deals or whatever, if there's ever one that like was, I don't know, it'd have to be maybe like wrestling or something. I don't even know. Like, there'd have to be like the right thing for me to even consider that. And even that's a stretch. I mean, if it was like The Undertaker, maybe then, or the Insane Clown Posse, that I would do that. If there was like some Undertaker or ICP Crocs, that would probably be what it takes for me to get a pair, because I just can't see myself doing it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty spot on. Fingerprints and wood, similar patterns. Yeah, it's an interesting look though. So I can see how some people might think like, yeah, I'll get this, because they do look better than like a standard Croc because it has like a cool thing. And if they gave it like the multicolor treatment, okay, if they gave it like the multicolor treatment, kind of like the, what do you call those? Like the Flyknit Vapor Maxes and stuff. Not the most recent ones, because the recycled look kind of gives them a trashy look, honestly. But the Flyknit 2s or the Flyknit 3s, or even like the Flyknit Air Max from 2014, either of those, if they gave them that look on there, maybe like a little tie-dye kind of vibe or something, I think those would sell pretty well in that style, especially if it's one of those things where every shoe looked a little bit different, because that's always a cool thing, at least in my opinion. But yeah, I just can't believe those things like came out and just got so popular, you know? Like people are like buying these things like nobody's business, you know? Selling like hotcakes. So, fun fact, I've never seen a hotcake being sold anywhere. I don't I I understand that's supposedly different than a pancake, but I don't know what the difference is, but I've never been anywhere that was selling hotcakes. So that phrase, I don't quite understand, you know? I mean, I feel like there's better things to say. I think it's just one of those old antiquated ones that people just say because people have been saying it for a long time. Because I mean, am I wrong on that? Like, do they have hot cake? Shoot, do they have hot cakes over there where you are in Greece? Is that a Greece food, perhaps? You guys like hot cakes over there? I mean, over here, you'd have to say like it's selling like PBR, like Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's a big thing around here, you know? People really like that. At least like a lot of the hipster community is super into them from what I've seen. I don't know what else. What else do people buy? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what else is cool because I'm not a cool guy, so I'm usually not in the loop on like what is cool. You know, every now and then I'll get something that kind of puts me in the cool kid territory. This woman needs to do something with her shirt. I'm not trying to like body shame people or whatever, but you can tell when you're doing something you shouldn't. Whoever let her leave the house like that, hmm, that is a dang shame. I tell you. And she's sitting front row too. Let's see. I don't know what kind of cakes they're talking about. Yeah, no one does. Maybe as soon as they're baked straight out of the oven, hungry people from a different era buying them up. I mean that's got to be what it was, because you know one of those old things where it just doesn't make any sense now, but it's not going to go away for at least a few years until you know people like me are out there stop saying it. Because I'm sure like the younger crowd doesn't even know that it's a saying, so it's just got to go through a couple generations for it to be like wiped out, you know. So I'm sure there's all kinds of sayings from like the 30s and 20s or something that are kind of like working their way away. Okay. Oh wait, this is it, right? Yeah, because you get the chair shot and like the other team members being held out. So there we go. The bad guys won again. So they're definitely not in the whole send the crowd home happy thing necessarily, or the happy ending, I should say. The crowd might be happy with these endings, but it's not necessarily like the happy ending. Yeah, I'm not sure either. I am curious enough, though, that I am going to look it up. So, because maybe we'll find out some sort of random useless knowledge. Let's see. Yeah, I get that, but where did it come from? So you type it in and it's like, oh, well, here, this is what it means. Like, well, I don't need to know that. Need the origin story. Okay. Let's see. Hotcakes are an American invention dating back to the 1600s. It is the same thing as a crepe that has been around since the 1400s. They were loved by the English when encountered at French fairs. This term has been used since about 1839. There's no clear origin, however, hotcakes are always a staple at any fair and sell out rather quickly. It is easy to believe that this has been the trend since they were first invented. An alternate origin story is that it hails from the Shrove Tuesday, whatever that is. Oh, this is the day before Lent. There you go. On this day, people would cook all of the things that they would be denying themselves during Lent. This included butter, fat, and all such things. People would then overindulge in things like hotcakes. So you kind of have the French to thank for this, and other people that were over there, other English people that were going to France. So, and then this other one is saying the same sort of thing. Early 19th centuries is a big deal. And so basically you nailed it. You said hungry people earlier in the, like way earlier. And that's what it was. So the French started it, and then the English people just couldn't get enough. And now here we are using that phrase since the 1800s. Who are these women? Sometimes when I watch wrestling that I don't normally watch, I'll at least recognize the people that are in like their main matches. I've never seen any of these women before. So, which is kind of a good thing because it means like they're, not relying on like past stars or something, they're building up new names. But, that can kind of help bring you in at the same time. So, either way you want to go, it's like someone's not going to be happy about it. But I'm cool. I'll just watch with an open mind and see what happens. So you got the little dancing guy. I don't know where you dug that thing up out of. But yeah, so I don't know if that I've ever had a crepe. Like mostly all I know of them is from Seinfeld, where like there's an episode about them, and I think there were some Cubans that were making them, so they were rolling them like cigars or something, and they were like too tight, and then they were like burning people because like they were biting into it, and like something was like splashing out of it. Either way, all I know about crepes I learned from Seinfeld and briefly just recently from the internet because I wanted to know where that phrase came from. And now I'm going to have to try to work that into conversation just a little bit more often. And so then somebody will be like, where's that phrase even come from? And I'm like, oh, 1843, the French, blah, 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 and their fairs, yada, yada, yada. And they're like, oh, interesting. I'm like, no, it's not. Let's see. Crepes over pancakes. I mean, I honestly don't. I can't really call it on that one, but I will say I do think pancakes are overrated. And I'm going to stand by that. I'm not saying they're bad, okay? I'm just saying that there's, at least here in America, people are all about some pancakes. They're like, oh my God, let's go get some pancakes. Oh my God, pancakes. Wow, pancakes. I'm like, dude, it's not that serious. But don't get me wrong, like, if a pancake is really good, then I can be into it. But if it's like, all right, like, so that's why I'm just kind of like not into it. I will say that I had a cinnamon roll pancake several months ago, and that was pretty good. And I also had, when was this? It was years ago, but I had like a red velvet cake, but like it was like a red velvet pancake. That was really good. But overall, like, I'm not one to just say like, oh man, what would be good right now? Pancakes. It's very much a thing that I just settle on because they're often in places that are open with weird hours. Like if you're hungry at 2 a.m, whatever's open will probably serve you a pancake. So that's kind of where I get used to them. Like those long nights after concerts and stuff. Yeah, that's usually when it happens. And it's just, but overall though, like, cause when I go to like IHOP, the International House of Pancakes, I'm usually more in the mood for like some toast and some eggs and some hash browns, right? That's my combination right there. Well, you want any pancakes? Like, no, I don't. Never do. So I'm inclined to agree with you after that long tangent about why I don't care for pancakes. I'm inclined to agree with you on that, but I can't say anything really because I don't know much about crepes, but I do know pancakes. So maybe that's enough, Let's see. Oh, only on the posh cafes. Crepes are more widely available. Huh. Interesting. Because here, like, I don't know, maybe they feel like the pancake sets them apart and makes them special. Let them know that they aren't special just because they have pancakes. Let them know that that comes from an American who knows a thing or two about a pancake. And that they should replace them with crepes and call it a day. The recipe for well, because they do look lighter, you know. Like pancakes are like crazy filling, you know, because it's just so much breading, you know, so much bread or whatever, and that's just kind of what that kind of kills it for me in a way, you know, because like if I get like when there have been times like I'll get the pancake with stuff because like it comes as like this package deal, and it's like, oh well, if you could just get this pancake platter, it will come with all that other stuff you want, and it's cheaper. And it's like, okay, so I'll save some money and I'll just get the thing that I don't want. Fine, whatever. And then like I eat some of the pancake, I eat like half of it or something, and I'm like, I'm practically full now. Like I don't know that I want anything else. And then I'm looking at the other half of this pancake, and maybe another one. Uh, yeah, crepes is more for the content, so you can play around. Okay, I got you. Kind of get them customized to some extent, because I do know that they have like blueberry or strawberry, something to go with it or whatever. Let's see, it just popped in because you're one of the few people doing a watch long of the pay-per-view. Oh, are you watching the pay-per-view too? I mean, I know you may think that we're just talking about pancakes and crepes, and we were, but I am also watching the show. So, what are your thoughts on it so far? I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm a huge Ring of Honor guy. I want to be because like every time I watch it, it makes me think I should watch more of it. I just kind of forget about it, you know. I think if it was like I was saying earlier, if they had it, if they had like a bigger TV deal where it was like on a channel that I would see often and remember to watch, whatever, I could get it on the DVR and like remember to watch it a couple weeks in a row to get it as part of my routine. Yeah, I would totally be more into this, I feel like. But so far, like all the matches have been solid, you know. I need to go back and rewatch some of it because I'm talking to people here, so it kind of distracts you from that. Not in a bad way, but it does. So later on, okay, I bought it through Fight TV, so I'll get the unlimited replays or whatever. But much like All Out last week, or was that last? What day is it? Sunday. Yeah, All Out last week. I had to rewatch that because I did the same thing, did a live and stuff. But I can't complain, you know. It's been more interesting than I've been more into this than SummerSlam, and SummerSlam was free. SummerSlam was god awful. It just wouldn't end. But anyways, thanks for popping in though. I know like the Ring of Honor doesn't really draw like huge crowds or whatever because it really should because they're solid people doing some amazing things. They just don't have that. Ooh, man, that was pretty good. Very flexible, to pull off certain moves like that. Yeah, they just don't have that, that presence. I guess that's the best way to put it. I only watch pay-per-view to pay-per-view. It's been, I was like yeah, man, like the Pure match was like really good. That was one of the that was one of the things that actually made me want to order this because I want to say those two fought during the Pure tournament, if I remember correctly. But the Pure tournament itself, like, was it like the summer, I think, last year? Either way, like that, I was super into. So when I saw that was on the lineup and a Dalton Castle match, I was sold based off of just that, honestly. So $30 later, here we are. And that match totally delivered. So definitely happy with that. I want to watch it again, though, just because, there were parts that I missed, but it looked like it was all really good. It looked like it was constructed well and executed well, minus that one suplex. But hey, it happens. And even so far, like, Oh, she's got the Daphne thing on her arm because Daphne passed away recently. But even so far, like this women's match is actually looking like an actual match that's not just a train wreck, which is a thing that happens. I mean, when someone was saying recently, like, when a women's match is good, it's like it's really good, and that might be because it can be rare, right? Nothing against them, it just can be. But when it's bad, it's like you want to tell somebody that doesn't even watch wrestling, you're like, dude, watch this. It's terrible. Let's see. But yeah, I don't think I watched their last pay-per-view. I was trying to remember, but I don't even remember what it was. So that's why I'm feeling like I haven't. I think yeah. It's just not anywhere in my mind, like trying to pull back things, and I feel like it's just been so long since I watched Ring of Honor that I may as well just say I've never watched it, which isn't true, but it's been so long. But again, like both of these women here, whatever their names are, Roxy and the other one, so far so good. And whoever wins here is going to be like the first ever, because I know they have a new women's title and like they changed the name of it from like the Women of Honor Championship to, I guess it's just now the Women's World Title or something like that. So I'm curious to see who's going to walk away with that. So far, just off of what I've seen, I'm going for. She looks like she might be an Asian woman in the purple, Roxy. I'm going for her. Nothing against the other lady, but for now, that's where my allegiance is. We'll see if I'm picking the right one or the wrong one, though, as far as the victor goes. But still, like taking this match just for what it is right off the top, I really can't say anything bad about either. And if they're both at this point, they probably both deserve to win. So, unlike other wrestling pay-per-views I watch where you'll see people and it's like, sometimes you just know, like, there's no way so-and-so is going to beat this other person. Be right back. All right, I'll be here. I think there's probably, I don't know what other matches are left on this show, but I feel like it's probably an 11 o'clock thing as far as ending, East Coast wise. Yeah, Roxy Purple seems to be the chosen one based on the video package. Okay. Yeah, so and that's the other thing, right? Sometimes those videos can be a little bit on the preferential treatment side, right? But again, I can't say anything bad about this other lady. It's not like, how you can watch like certain people and you'll see sometimes if you really watch close enough, you might be able to see like somebody is carrying someone else through the match. But I don't know. I feel like this might be about equal. Again, I'm only watching so closely because I'm looking back and forth between this and that. But I think it's about equal. And she seems like she's there have been a lot of bad guy wins, a lot of heel victories, So this show is about due for a face victory, So in that way, like she should come out on top too. So we'll see. Let's tilt this thing a little bit. Because I just realized like I'm at a weird angle since I scooted back because I was all on the edge of my seat, Figure I can sit back. It's not that serious, right? But again, though, you have to know when the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view is? Is this their last one for the year? Because I know they don't do a lot of them. I'll have to see. Because I would like to pay more attention. But at the same time, it's like even like you just watching pay-per-view to pay-per-view, I still can't complain. You know what I mean? I would like to be more in the loop. So I don't know if there's like and I could have watched like a pre-show. Like I think all pay-per-views from all companies do like an hour before where they just talk about why everything is happening and get you caught up. But sometimes it's cool to have to see like the long-term story play out. You know, think about, oh man, that's why Hangman Page really needs to win here. That was rough. Man, those low-end Hurricane Ranas, you know. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think it comes on like the YouTube TV because that's what I have. I have to search. So I think, or maybe it does. If it does, that'd be cool. I could just add it there. But maybe it does actually. Huh. I guess so. Okay, so I'll have to start watching that then. Because it does seem like it does come on like YouTube, the YouTube TV that is, not like actual YouTube. If that's the case, maybe if I start actually clicking on it, they'll start reminding me to watch it. But I'm so behind on so many other shows too. I haven't seen a single episode of Dave yet, and that season's probably over at this point. That was one of my favorite shows when the first season was going on. Man, how to give this a. Let's see. I still don't know what her like. I also don't know what move to watch for. Like if it's like if you see them hit something big, like is this gonna be the finish? Like I have no idea. Like was that her finishing move and like it was rare that she kicked out? I don't know. Probably not, given the way that it went. But I think you see what I'm saying. And another thing, I probably need to start watching a little more Impact as well. It falls into the same category where when I see it, I'm cool with what's happening. But man, it's just like I see it every few months, you know. But like this really does make me feel like I've been kind of missing out on some things, you know. Unless they're just, it's one of those things where they're just really putting their best foot forward and they've just been nailing this pay-per-view. I don't know. So yeah, you don't know. Okay, yeah. So we're right here on the same page, like, because like you see things happen and it's like, oh man, this could be it. It's like, is he a powerbomb guy? Is this the powerbomb? It's like, oh no, I guess not. Oh, he's a pile driver guy. Okay, cool. You know, it's like that. But yeah, this is pretty good so far. So is that Dex? Dex, did you watch the All Out pay-per-view last week? And if so, what did you think of that? Because that one, from a lot of people, got a lot of good reviews. Because the matches themselves were solid, but also like the not reveals, the debuts of people. They had 3 pretty solid debuts that all would have done just fine on their own, like on any other time, you know. Because between like this and the CM Punk thing too, I watch Impact every week. It can be really good or really ridiculous, but you know they're trying every single week at least. Okay, I could see that. Like, is it the same people that like are doing the ridiculous stuff, or is it just like one week like things with Tommy Dreamer or something? Was Tommy Dreamer with Impact? I don't know. Is it like one week somebody's doing something amazing, then the next week they're doing something weird? Or is it just like they just kind of focus on the ridiculous stuff some week and other weeks they just leave it alone? I liked All Out, but not as much. Okay. So my thing was like I had to rewatch All Out because when it was over, because I did this same thing last week with that one. And when it was over, I was like, okay, this show was fine. I got no complaints about it. Right. But a lot of it seemed kind of slow to me. It truly did. Like the women's title match didn't really do much for me. The casino battle royale match, same thing. There were some things that definitely held their own, but overall, I was like, the matches were just kind of hit and miss along through the night. Watching it again, though, I saw that a lot of them were better than I thought. Not all of them, but a lot of it was better than I thought. But overall, like my initial feeling was like you did, like yours is. I do like it more now, but overall, like yeah, it was a solid show with some parts I could have done without. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with like the Big Show or the Paul White or whatever, but I didn't really need to see a match with him. That was unnecessary to me. Like the CM Punk one was solid solid as it could potentially be. Because it wasn't going to be like the crazy high flying spot match that some other people would do, but it was like a solid like back and forth battle. So I liked that aspect of it. Different people, they play with comedy and supernatural aspects more. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, I'm not like the supernatural things, like it's I have some mixed feelings about it, right? Because one of my favorite wrestlers is The Undertaker, right? And his whole thing was built around supernatural stuff. So for me to say that that's stupid, it'd be a little hypocritical in some ways. But when you look at, say, like the Alexa Bliss, geez, that looked bad. I don't know if you saw that knee that this girl just took to the face, Roxy just took to the face, but that did not look okay. So sucks to be her right now. But yeah, so when I look at the supernatural thing, like what Alexa Bliss is doing, it's like, okay, this is you've crossed the line, right? Like when you're climbing a ladder and like you can look at somebody and like make them climb down the ladder, it's like, come on, man. Like this is why people are always so quick to talk about how fake wrestling is. Now, if you want to portray like someone's like sneaking into somewhere and like just some fancy cuts, whatever, it's like the warrior is like in Hogan's mirror and like doing whatever. Okay, that I can kind of get it. It's like a mind games thing. I'll play it off of that card, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you on that supernatural thing. And comedy is a weird one, right? Because there's some stuff where it's like it is legitimately funny. You can tell that it's not like set up to be like that. It's just two people have an interaction and you just laugh about it. A lot of that type of stuff involves Kevin Owens, right? Because he's a pretty funny dude when he wants to be. But then there's some actual like comedy that they're shooting for and it just falls flat. Like I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but like there's some New Day stuff. Like the New Day can be funny when left alone, but when forced, I could do without. Same goes with like John Cena things. Though he had a run in with it was like it was actually New Day, uh, Enzo and Big Cass and John Cena. They were all in the ring for some reason, and what they were doing was like it had some laughs in it, because they're just left to their own devices. They're funny dudes. So I like when there's comedy if it's natural. She better not tap. She's barely in this thing. Just do something. Do something. Wait, what just happened? Oh, geez, that looks. Man, I tell you, some people's crossface looks vicious, and then some people's looks like John Cena's. Is she? Is she gonna tap? What? Oh man, she was so close. That missed by a mile. I feel like she's taking too much time. Yep. Didn't want none of those Shinsuke Nakamura things in the corner. Wait. Okay. I thought it was going to be one of those controversial things. No, that was the ending I wanted to see. So, cool. So far, this thing has really been delivering. I mean, I've had some matches where I couldn't care less who won. I just wanted to be entertained. Now you got Poison Ivy out here. I mean, I assume that's what she's going for whatever reason. What's her name? Maria something or other? Is that her? I think that's her. I haven't seen her in years, so could be wrong. So yeah, good on her. She seems happy about it. And to you, like, do you to Dex there? Does it seem like there's nobody in the crowd here? Like, I mean, again, I don't know if it's like the lighting or what, but it is not. Because like I was looking online earlier today, just because had I known that this pay-per-view was only like 5 hours from here, I might have made a weekend trip to go see it, honestly. But only because I feel like Ring of Honor doesn't come out this way very often, and I have a friend that like lives probably like 30 minutes from where the ECW arena. But man, like it looks like it's so empty, but it might just be the lighting. What's that? My opinion on the belt designs. So, like I was looking at the like that one, that might be one of the better women's titles that I've seen. It looks like a smaller version of the AEW men's title in a way, but I didn't get a good straight look at it. But I was saying earlier that like the pure title, as basic as it is, I really like the way it looks because it just works for that type of match that they do, you know? It's a plain title. Yeah, it's a plain title. It's nothing too much going on with it, but it still looks nice enough to have like, you know, some prestige to it. So far though, and even that one looks pretty good. So I would say like I'm on board with their title designs. I didn't I can't recall anything about their actual tag team belts though. And I think I saw something about the TV title, but I don't think I saw the actual belt. So I don't have anything to say about that either. But just going off of these three, wait, or is that what that one is? What is? Okay. Okay, yeah, so that is the world championship. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So it is just the world championship, not the team. All right, just making sure. But yeah, I think they're looking pretty good. I mean, because I assume you were just asking about these belt designs here. Other company belt designs, though, uh, WWE has been very hit and miss. It's been a lot of miss, honestly, like with redesigns and stuff. Because some of them, it's just, I don't know what it is. If it's just so much that I like the original ways or other ways they've looked better, but some of those just look really bad. I mean, like there was one version of I can't even remember which one it was at this point though. I might have just blocked that out of my mind, but like there was one version of like the WWE tag belt that was just terrible. And I think I'm not really like a huge fan of their current intercontinental belt. So there is that. I can't think of what the other ones even look like, honestly. I don't watch that show close enough or regularly enough. Then the AEW ones, like their women's title looks like it's got some room for improvement. I can't think of how so off the top of my head, but I just feel like it could be better. Their actual world title is really cool though. I feel like New Japan took a step back with their world title because like was it like last year? I think they changed it to something, or was it this year? I just remember they changed it at some point, and I didn't care for what they did to it. Somebody said it looked like a combination of like Cody Rhodes' tattoo and the Divas title or something like that, which is not really like the best combination. But it is what it is. So this match here, honestly, I didn't quite pay enough attention to like the video package because I saw multiple people, so I'm not sure if this is like a one-on-one match or if this is the one where it's like multiple people in here. So I'll have to look that up because I am not sure. Let's see. Who is that? Brody King? Yeah, I feel like this one, I feel like I saw his name along with other names. So I think this is like one of those four-way matches or three-way matches or something like that. Let's see. WWE's look completely generic. MLW and Impact have some lovely titles. I only like AEW's world title. I'd like, real quick, one thing about the AEW though, I like, and I don't know if it's going to be a trend or whatever, but I like how they've changed the TNT title a couple times. I don't know if it's like to match up like who the champ is or whatever, but if that's what they're going to do, I think that could be a pretty cool approach for that belt, especially if like the people hold the belt for a while and it just kind of like the title reigns actually means something, which is one thing that has been a problem in some places. And so, but what was it? I've never watched MLW. Do they? I have to look that up. I mean, I know about it. You know what I'm saying? I've just never watched an actual show, so I'll need to see if they have what their pay-per-view schedule is like, or their shows, or whatever. Man, I still can't believe like what the EC3 from like NXT. He was. I don't even know what to say about that. Like it was fine, I want to say, but like the EC3 main roster, oh god, it was god awful. Now you look at this and you wouldn't even think that it was the same person. But let's see. Then the Impact title. Okay, yeah, I can vouch for my thoughts on the Impact World title, and that one was looking pretty good, and which I've only really seen because of AEW. But yeah, and that's the thing. Like the WWE changes that they made, they just made it look. I don't know, man. Like it's like they just don't care anymore, honestly. And I say that as like a whole all-inclusive package, right? Because the shows themselves are mostly bad. SmackDown is still holding on somehow. Like it's moving through being mostly okay, right? But looking at like Raw and stuff, like and just seeing where that's going, and that looks like a large belt. I don't know if this guy's a smaller guy or what, but that belt looks large. It's like WCW late '90s large, you know, like that big gold belt that they had for seemingly forever. That's what this belt reminds me of. Like now that I see it on this dude. Huh. Looks like it'd be like pretty heavy too. Yeah, one of these days, again, like I like that there's so much wrestling around, like to be watched. You know, like that's just available on the different means. Like if you can find it or remember where it all is, because that's just when I was like younger and stuff, getting into it. It was so easy to watch everything because it was like there was Raw and there was Sunday Night Heat and there was Thunder and there was Nitro and there was like that Saturday night WCW program that was not worth watching, but I watched it every week anyway, you know? And now it's like you have so many different groups. You have all these people doing their own things, you know, like, and they're all doing it on a level that's respectable, you know? It's not like, oh, New Japan is a waste. Like, no, like they're all doing pretty good stuff. Let's see, both. It's a massive belt on a light heavyweight. Okay. Yeah, that was the combination I did not consider. And now I see it. Because, I mean, I don't know how, because I don't feel like EC3 is like a massive dude, but he is making Bandito look pretty small. And just given like how high he is, like next to the ropes and stuff. Yeah, so, but I feel like this one's got like the right number. Well, I don't say the right number, like the right type of people in here to build a pretty interesting match, you know? Because you got the power guy, I assume. You got like the smaller guys. Then you got EC3 kind of right there in the middle that can kind of like blend both of those together to some extent. So I feel like this one could be pretty good. We're gonna see though. Now, again, because I don't know anybody's like backstory going into this match, so I don't know if anybody's been built up over another person or if there's anybody in here that's like a throwaway. Because you know how when you watch these things sometimes, there's like if it's like a four-way match, like in recent times, there's often somebody that you know isn't going to win, and there's like the two people that like your money is on, but and then there's like that other guy that's like, unless they're going for a surprise, like I could see this happening, but I just don't see it happening today, you know? So I don't know who fits any of these criteria right now. So I just kind of just have to watch this play out. But for some reason, I'm just going to throw my money out there right now and say it's not the big guy. Something just, I feel like he's not there to win this match. So I'm thinking, I would say it's either going to stay where it is or EC3. That's what I'm thinking. Based solely on nothing. Just pure guessing, right? It's like I'm basically going in this like a scratch off where you're just like, yeah, I'll scratch off this one. Why not? You don't know what's going to be under there. There's no pattern to it. You're just playing the game, right? Which is what it's all about, according to Triple H. But I've seen this Bandito guy a couple times before, and I was pretty impressed with his matches. And this guy he's in the ring with right now kind of reminds me of, man, what was that dude's name? There's a guy that was kind of built the same and dressed the same in Lucha Underground. Remember Lucha Underground? That was a thing that I kind of enjoyed. But he kind of reminds me, was it Son of Havoc? Was that his name? I don't know. But either way, there was a guy in Lucha Underground that reminded me of that guy. Ooh, that landing did not look good. It looked like he could have just like hyperextended everything in his legs or just like cracked his shins in half. Then he'd be walking around like Hank Hill's dad or something, you know? You can't have that if you're being like a wrestler, dude. Well, they did have that, was it Zach Gowen guy? Was he the guy that only had like one leg or something? So I guess you can do it. But, you know, nowadays, like they have like all kinds of technology. I guess they can get you some new legs or what. Jesus Christ, what just happened there? That dude just went all into the front row. And then took a face full of, what is that, turn post? But yeah, so they got some pretty good looking people in here, you know, as far as like looking like they could win, right? It's not all just a throwaway thing, I don't think. But there's always somebody, if you're paying enough attention, that is not in it to win it. Just don't know who that is. But, you know, I'll be watching. And how often are how often are there pay-per-views? Like, is it? I'm guessing they're probably like on a 2 or 3 month thing. All of the landings tonight have stressed me out. Okay, yeah. I I thought maybe it was just me, like, because you know how sometimes if you see something, but you only see it the one time, you just kind of have to go by what you caught of it, and you're like, I don't think that was a good thing. And then sometimes like you see it, you're like, I feel like this was not okay, and then they show the replay, and you're like, oh, that's full on contact right there. So yeah, I'm with you on that. There's some because there's like that potential for things to go wrong every time people jump out of the ring, right? Like I'm sure this guy's done like a million moonsaults, but that doesn't mean that every one has like landed perfectly, right? Yeah. But otherwise, like this other masked man, he is definitely like a creative wrestler from the most basic of creative wrestler endeavors, right? It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna put these black pants, these black boots, black mask, and throw one of these armbands on him that I unlocked by beating the game with Jeff Hardy. And yeah, there we go. That's what I see when I look at this guy. But hey, he might surprise me, and who knows, he might come out on top. This looks like he's been through a war or something. Like he's got all, I don't know if those are like scars on his back or what. I might have to look further into this man at some point to see who he is. And I could look it up right now, but you know, I'm okay for the moment just living in ignorance. But yeah. But oh, again, like I don't know if I actually got the question now, but does it look like this is a very poorly attended show to you? Because it looks like they've got people in like the first 3 rows, and they're even still they look like they're somewhat spread out. And if that is the case, like I get why that might be the case, but man, does it make me feel bad for them, you know? Not like a pity thing necessarily, but like they're out here, they're going on the road, they're trying to like keep their name out there, put on this entertainment. It'd be nice to I'd like to see every show be like sold out with like fans that want to be there, you know? That'd be like the perfect world situation, I guess. But I know right now it's not necessarily going to happen because of the way some things are, but it just sucks like seeing these guys out here putting on what has so far been a really good show and not have the fans there. Like they also seem quiet. I mean, my sound is down fairly low, but it seems like it's just a lot of, I don't know, it's got like a house show energy, you know? Or, well, maybe not even that, because those people are usually really into because it's all entertainment and none of the extra crap. It's got we're taping Dynamite after you've already sat through 2 hours, taping Dark after you've already sat through 2 hours of Dynamite and maybe an hour of Elevation. To where you're like, you're watching some things happen, you're seeing some faces you like to see, but you're a little ready to go. So you're not super into it. Say it looks pretty sparse first 3 rows, and then some of the corners are empty, but the crowd seemed pretty high, seemed more hyper. Okay. And that because it hasn't really been, well, it's been almost 3 hours, which isn't a long show, but again, I don't know if this is like an NXT takeovers, how those used to be, like those would tape like an hour show. Like they've taped the next week's show before the pay-per-view. So I don't know if these wait. Oh, okay. Well, EC3 got disqualified there. But yeah, so I don't know if they tape anything before this pay-per-view, but that could be it because even if it's like even if they only tape like an hour episode of something, that it's like an hour of that and then some amount of time of like waiting for the show to happen, waiting for the main show to happen, and then 3 hours at this point, 3 hours of sitting around. Yeah, it takes a toll on you. Have you been to any shows in the last like year or two or anything, Dex? Because I haven't. I went to the first show that I've seen in a while was last month. I went to the Fight for the Fallen pay-per-view. No, that was in July, excuse me. And it wasn't a pay-per-view, it was just like a weekly episode. It was the one where Jericho fought Nick Gage, and I don't remember. And they first made like the first official CM Punk tease. But before that, I hadn't seen a show since the end of 2018. And then it was just like a show over in Charleston, South Carolina, like just a WWE house show, which was, I was looking at the pictures the other day, and it was like Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy versus somebody, like Natalia was there teaming with like Ronda Rousey. I think Roman and Reigns fought somebody. It was like, I was like looking at it, like, man, you can just tell how old this thing is. It was kind of like a walk down memory lane. Let's see, the last wrestling show I went to was New Japan, Ring of Honor. Like, when was that? Because is that the one that I was? Wait, no. There was another show that was supposed to happen with New Japan at the Garden that I wanted to go to, but I think that was the one that got canceled, like when things first started getting canceled. I've seen one New Japan show myself, and that was Power Struggle 2019. It was in Osaka. That was the one time that I've been able to see them live. And the one Ring of Honor show that I saw live was a TV taping in 2016. I think it was like exactly 5 years ago, probably, because I forget when, but I think I was in town right around this time in Las Vegas. And I went in thinking it was just going to be like an hour-long show or something like that. That did not look good. There wasn't a full rotation, and rough. But yeah, I went to like a Ring of Honor taping, and I thought that it was just going to be like a single show, and it ended up being like 4 weeks worth of TV. It was cool, I got to see a lot of big names that like would become, well, they were big names then in a way, but they became bigger names. All right. See you later, Damien. Appreciate you stopping in and all that. Good luck with your studies and your exams, finals. Hopefully that goes well for you. I seriously do mean that. I'll catch you next time. But yeah, so like I saw Adam Page and Adam Cole versus somebody. It might have been War Machine, I forget. Keith Lee was there as well. Who else? There was somebody else was on that card that became like a big name later, and like was it Damian Priest? Was he there? I don't remember. But it was one of those things. It's like you almost look at it, it's like one of those like before they were stars shows or something, It's not the same that they weren't stars at the time. It's just, like your name can get a little bit bigger if you go work for the right places at the right times. And like Hangman Page, he's definitely like a more known person now than he was in 2016, I would say. It might vary based on who you ask or whatever, but when you get like a pretty good TV deal in the States, like you can main event the Tokyo Dome for 3 or 4 years in a row, but people may not. So this is, I like that they're doing this like elimination style, man, because that was one thing that I really liked about ECW, which they haven't actually been in the ECW arena, so that's cool. But now it's down to like the big guy and Bandito. So now it's looking like the big guy could potentially win just based off like the whole size thing. But again, you look at how things went with like, was it Brock Lesnar and Eddie Guerrero? I think. And like, or Brock Lesnar and who was it? Somebody didn't somebody. No, he won those other matches, but I think it was Eddie Guerrero that came out and beat Brock Lesnar. Possibly clean. There may have been some cheating in there because it is Eddie Guerrero. I don't really remember for sure, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this guy, so it's hard to say. But they've at least played this well enough to make me interested in seeing how it's going to play out. I'm also not sure how I feel about this guy's tattoos. They seem, I'd have to get a good look at them, but because it seems like it's just like a bunch of random stuff, but maybe there's like some sort of like reason behind it, Maybe they actually like make sense together. I don't really know for sure. But I do remember seeing him. Who was he with before? Because like the last time I watched Ring of Honor, like I said, it was like last summer. And I remember him being in some match that mattered, and he was like he was looking like a favorite to win it. Let's see. I think they see the big guy as a star without the belt, and Bandito just won the belt. Oh, he did. Okay. Because yeah, I remember like I'm a big Dalton Castle fan for whatever reason, and I remember like I mostly missed his run, and then like I think he was injured when he had the belt, and then he just like got to a point of like having to kind of get rid of it or something. Wait, no. Well, that was seemed like the shooting star was one of his. Ooh, Jesus. Seemed like the shooting star was one of his like moves. So, but now the dude's hulking up, He took his vitamins and drank some milk or something before the match, I guess. Wait, what? Well, that's unbelievable. I mean, just the fact that like this small dude is like rolling around this big monstrosity of a man. Huh. And then he beat him. So I gotta say, I don't really like the finish of that. It seems awkward. Okay. Yeah, that's what I heard. I didn't know it was like broken. I just knew that it was like bad. And obviously like a bad back as a wrestler is just no good. But then you add in the fact of like his wrestling style, of course, and that makes it even worse because he's really big on like the suplexes and everything like that. So yeah, that's like I said, I knew there was something wrong, but that sucks because it was the same thing with like, and I mean Finn Balor didn't go into his winning like that Universal title like injured, but he was injured during the match, and that sucks because it just like cut his career, not his career, but it's cut his reign super short. I'm curious how his reign would have gone though, because everybody else on the main roster just kind of got screwed. Is he wearing those like Susan ones, or is that something else? It's hard to say. Couldn't get a good look at it. I mean, this is a shoe thing, so sometimes that stuff kind of catches my attention. Now, I'm not sure who these guys are, but they look interesting. One of them, the woman, kind of reminds me of what's her name? Johnny Gargano's wife. That name is like completely skipping me right now. What was her name? Candice LeRae. Kind of reminds me of her. But I am curious to see where this is gonna go. All right. Well, they don't mess around when it comes to wrapping up a show. So that was okay. I guess they're good. I guess they're done. Well, that'll What is it? It's 11. Jeez, I gotta wake up all early and go to work. I was considering like finishing off the Hirachi video that I was editing before this, but I don't know. That's Vincent. He's like a cross between Bray Wyatt and Rob Zombie. Man, like Rob Zombie was a couple hours away like yesterday. I was originally thinking about going to that show and then I just completely forgot. I am a Rob Zombie fan though. He put out that new album not too long ago, the Lunar Injection something or other. Pretty solid, you know. If you're into Rob Zombie music anyway. It's not for everybody, I get that. But yeah, that was a pretty good show overall. So I'm cool with that. It was $30 well spent. Now it makes me want to. I've added that to my YouTube TV DVR thing, so I'll have to watch some more of that later, like see what comes with their next weeks of shows or whatever. And maybe I'll be able to actually like get into this, or 3 or 2 or whatever months will pass by, and I'll be right back in here sitting down doing one of these watch alongs and saying, yeah, I haven't watched Ring of Honor since whenever their last pay-per-view was, which is a possibility. I'm just gonna try and make it not be a reality. Slight difference there, right? But we'll know that answer in, I don't know, 90 days or whatever their pay-per-view cycle is. But for now, though, because it is late and I had to get up at the butt crack of dawn to go to work and stuff, I feel like I should wrap this night up. So to the people that stopped in to throw some questions in there, oh, I definitely appreciate the donation there. I really do, because I know the option is there, but I always just think that I just like to entertain the people, and I feel like we both get something out of it. But to see a donation come in, that really does mean a lot. It seriously does. So thank you for that. But yeah, I'll have to get things going for tonight. But I will. What's the next show? Is Summer? No, SummerSlam just happened. I feel like an NXT show just happened too, right? But either way, I'll likely be around for the next, whatever the next show is. Maybe it'll be one of those MLW things or something. Maybe it'll be something off the beaten path, but I'll figure that out later. But again, thank you. I seriously do appreciate that. So from me to you, to everybody out there, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I do appreciate the time that you guys have given me, whether it's a few minutes or a few hours. It all means a lot because there's a lot of other stuff you could be doing in this moment. So thanks again. Later, people. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys around again. We'll find out in the future.